Mm-mm. Hey, what is going on, everyone? How you all doing? We're back. Yeah, Mega, you got it, buddy. Stream two. Got to make some progress. Got to make some progress. I was actually getting a little bit down. Down's not the right word, but I was like, wow, I'm way off pace. And then I realized, like, no, that's not really how it works. Like, the first day doesn't end till tomorrow at my 10 o'clock. I happen to live in the same time zone as Kabam. So I think I'm on a fine pace. I'm very comfortable with this. I'm very excited about it. And it's time to jump back in. Don't love losing my streak. But you see, I built it back up. Hey, is that Spin? I think Spinnaker's joining the call. Let's give him a few minutes. Judah, what is up? Thanks for coming back. Tom, great to see you again.
Yeah, hi Vega.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Having
Right.
a late afternoon stream.
Yeah, right. I mean, if I'm going to be inside, this is a great way to be spending it, right?
For sure.
Yeah?
What better way than to be grinding out arena?
I do not need temptation to open crystals. I do not need it. But I appreciate the joke.
Yeah, Work keeps trying to get me to do arena. He keeps saying that it's actually beneficial to players to do arena to actually get these things called units.
Interesting. Interesting. Has he provided any evidence to back up his, I don't want to call them accusations at this point.
No, he hasn't, and until I see the evidence, I just don't think I can believe it.
Krusty Hawk, what's up, dude? Osfan. Man Falcon, Blake, how y'all doing? Let me know if you guys, I'm going to turn Spin up here just a little bit. Just a little bit. And Spinnaker, I'm sure as you can imagine, I have not had a ton of time to watch YouTube videos, which I normally do during the day when I'm just, working or whatever, like everybody else. But I could swear I saw that you soloed Sorcerer Supreme with Mojo. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Summer of Pain Sim Supreme. I did a solo with Mojo just for fun. Not something I'd actually recommend anyone do for serious runs or for Cavalier players, but it was a fun one.
What? No, you got the solo, right?
Yeah, I got the solo. I went down to 1% health at one point in the fight, I will say. So
Well-
certainly by the hairs of my chinny chin chin.
Chin chin. I think that's something people don't realize is that Mojo can heal and he can actually get himself out of a hole pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's based off of missing health.
Yeah.
That heal definitely gets very substantial. And one thing people don't consider is the fact that Sim Supreme's power gain and his phases are all accompanied by corresponding buffs, at least in two of the phases. and those feed regen and degen.
I actually didn't think about that either. Um, Obviously, I'm not the Mojo expert that you are, but I had not thought of that. Blake, I'm doing really well, man. I'm obviously not a serious arena grinder. I've done it before, as I said on the first stream, and I've realized like I should just repeat myself a lot because my streams are going a little longer than normal, and then also I'm doing it more than I traditionally do. So chances are people aren't hearing things for this over and over. But I've grinded out a few champions in my day. I want to say it's between like 4 and 6. I can only really remember 2 of them, but I don't recall them being a blast. But doing it on stream was a ton of fun. I went a little slow, but it was so much fun. I mean, it's basically this. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to someone I consider to be an MCO friend on voice chat. We're talking about the game. We started talking about like movies from the 90s. It was just awesome. It was just awesome. Mega, yeah, this isn't normally my thing, as you know, buddy. But it's the only way. I don't want to open crystals for America. Let's put it that way. I really don't. Some sort of like, I don't know if I'm just being petulant. And I do think she has uses. I think she definitely has uses. And I could see a world where she becomes more valuable. I could see an MCoC world where she becomes more valuable over time. But right now, I'm not going to be taking her to Sig 200 and making her my first rank 4. And that's what I wanted because I'm a biased fan of the character from the comics and TV shows.
Yeah, and especially with the character who underwhelmed the community on release.
Yeah.
Probably a decent shot with Arena.
I think so. Like I've gotten that question a little bit, and I'm even trying to figure it out too. Like I'm gonna give it my best. I did my best to take time off work. If something comes up, I'm gonna have to take care of it because I run my own company, and I have a family and things, and so I'm definitely not going to ignore them. I don't want to do that, but I'm gonna do my best with my roster. I'm obviously putting in a lot of time, and then on Saturday, we'll see what's left. And if I'm going to do some refreshes or not, or something like that. I've seen estimates of like about 130. That's crazy to me considering Shang-Chi, who came in with a lot of fanfare and is an amazing champion, I think went for 140, right? There's just been
I feel like the cutoff for her will be a little more comparable to like Purgatory or Overseer. And Overseer had Prestige, so probably closer to Purgatory.
Well, do you remember what Purgatory's was?
I don't. I'm not really up to date on Arena stuff.
Yeah.
I don't touch Arena with a 6-foot stick.
Awesome. Padme, I know. I just, while I was putting on the finishing touches for this stream, just like creating a thumbnail and stuff, I watched your video. I did really enjoy it. I do not want to spoil it. But I hear you. Let's put it that way. Kai's, yeah, I mean it. Like and I've done this before. It's not like I've never done Arena before. Oh wait, do I really want to do this matchup? No, I don't. Let's go there. It's just been a long time, and just the reality of like my life and having 2 little kids and them in school and it's summer and whatever. Like I really was going to try to get Shang-Chi, and I had more or less cleared my work schedule, but then, things come up like they do. And like I said, I run my own show, so I have to take care of it. I want to take care of it. So if that happens between now and the end of Friday, there's just nothing I can do about it.
Twisted said Purgatory went for 140 mil. I find quite surprising, but
I actually think it's accurate. The inflation on Arena scores has been absurd. Absolutely absurd. And people don't want to miss. I get it, Like, and that's kind of where I feel like I probably, at least by Friday, I should set a maximum. Because if I'm at like 100 going into Saturday or 90, I could see me convincing myself that I need to start doing a bunch of refreshes, and I end up getting to like 150. Like I could see a world where that happens. It's what happens with crystals,
Right. And I take it the 5-star would be a miss for you.
Yeah, I mean that's not what I'm shooting for.
Hmm.
Although I think it'd probably be I'd be more likely to be able to use her because I do think her sig is really nice, and I think it's important to her damage. The higher you can get the sig up, so maybe I shouldn't look at it that way. But no, I'm not doing this with hopes of getting the 5-star.
Right.
First round was 120 for Purgatory. I think she came in with very little hype, from what I recall. As someone, I've tested her a little bit on the CCP server, and she can handle long fights really well with that 4% on the SP3. But that's about I've gotten out of her. That's about all I've gotten out of her. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish her class ones didn't only last for 2 fights.
Yeah. Yeah, like I honestly have not even really dove into her that much. Like you're saying something, and I was like, okay, I mean, I believe you because you know a lot about the game. But I truly was just testing her on a long fights to see how it would go. I I was not in love with her animations too, which I know is not going along with what a lot of people have said, but I just wasn't.
Hmm.
Alexander, I feel your name seems so familiar. What's up, Duke? Cutoffs are going crazy. Yeah, they are, man. I think people are just scared to miss. It's exactly the same, concept of crystals. You open 3, you're like, well, what's one more? You open 4, and then you miss, and then you're like, well, I've already opened 4, and then all of a sudden you've opened 400. you know, a little extreme there, but it's the same mental concept there, or psychological concept. 43 million for cable. Was that in the 5-star too, or not the 5-star? But is that one of the once they've made the changes where 6 stars are not getting the extra points either? And BK, yeah, man, I'm serious. I would really like to get this champion. I'm not going to say that I refuse to refresh because that's not true, but I'm really hoping not to spend any units at all on this. One thing I will say, Spin, like when I do actually just try to do arena like this, the one
Hmm.
thing I will say, I'm gonna die. I know I am. Yeah, you know who taught me that SP2 evade, right? It was you.
I will feel honored every time.
For anyone in the chat who thinks I'm joking, actually it's true. Spinnaker, I used to always evade Doom's SP1. I found it easier, a lot easier for me to evade, and I would just deal with the aura if I needed to. And then Spinnaker, was that your? Oh,
It
was that
was
your?
Gauntlet Doom.
Yeah,
It was Gauntlet Doom.
Grandmaster's Gauntlet. Yeah. And then I tried to do it in War, and I went too early on the third hit.
I remember that. I felt so sad as if I was letting you down.
Well, it wasn't you, but I appreciate it. You're a good coach. You feel for your athletes. Let's call me an athlete on this one. I like it.
Tom Jarvis said, Vega, if I told you Sentinel was an amazing war attacker, would you believe me?
I think amazing would be a little strong, but I'm always open to the idea that there's something I do not know. And like we actually even went over that today in the earlier stream this morning, that there's like ways I use or I don't use champions because I have other options. And I could see that definitely happening with Sentinel, where I'd be like, well, if I need to heal block, I'll just use Warlock. And so as a result, and I find Sentinel incredibly boring. And so I don't use him. But I know people do.
I'd agree with you. I think like Sentinel, he's slow, especially if you don't have him awakened. That in war, it just seems inconvenient to try and ramp him up each fight. But he probably would make fights incredibly safe because I know he has like a load of critical resistance, which in war can be a very big deciding factor. And if you eat a combo, you survive. Obviously, the best thing in war would be to not eat the combo, but that's a lot easier said than done.
just in general, don't eat the combo. Just don't. It sounds like one of the tips Kabam's putting out for Summer of Pain. Try to get the opponent's health bar to 0 before yours reaches 0.
Tip, don't throw your device in frustration.
That one was particularly funny.
Yeah.
And people like Sentinel. In fact, wasn't he good for one of the Summer of Pain fights?
Yes. Oh, it was. I want to say Darkhawk. Yeah, I think it's Darkhawk that people used him for.
Yeah, which even satisfied a an objective, if I remember correctly.
Wait, was it Darkhawk? Yeah, Darkhawk was with a tech, and a mutant, and a villain. I want to say Sentinel got the tech. Wait, I think I think that's right. Yeah,
I think it was Robot.
Yeah, Robot. That's the one.
The only reason I remember that is because I was trying to use Dragon Man for forever.
Yeah, and I was trying to use Warlock, and he has the regen on his SP3, the shocks off the heavy. I think that's what a lot of people were using him for.
Yeah,
and his incinerates can go through block, which is nice. Oh, I hate that special too, like the second of lag before he throws it.
I'm also feeling the parry bug very badly here against this Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I've noticed that it's like it seems champion dependent. I was surprised it was Magneto though, because I felt like it's more the larger champions. I felt like it's more the larger.
I think it's like champions that, like, I'm pretty sure in terms of like the parry, it's based on the opponent's dash and your own dash back. Mainly the opponent's dash though.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the white Magneto bug, right? Different champions knock you back further.
Yeah, that's true. I think we just got a question on the control denial. I would say, I'm sure there's other options. I've seen people have a lot of success, and I've had a lot of success. I just have not got the solo, which I'm stubbornly trying to keep to, with Voodoo. And just get the odd combo, and throw your special, and then just leave it on. You can apply poisons if you want. Just keep in mind the node. I think it's redoubled determination, which can be a bit of a problem. But Voodoo I've seen be pretty safe. The RNG could go wrong. It could go wrong. But I think after 2 or 3 attempts, you might get it if it feels good. OG Highland, man, you are crushing. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you absolutely so much. I appreciate this. Who did you use for the control denial, Ben?
I used Black Widow Clairvoyant with a few revives.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not have the best time on that fight with control denial. I preferred the other Actually, no, Cosmic was the worst for me. My Cosmic roster is severely underdeveloped, so my strategy was CGR and Nuke, which took 3 revives, and Black Widow at least took only 2.
I think we've reached the point, though, where that makes sense. I mean, it's always made sense to use revives. You do it, your roster, and things can accommodate. And some of these fights, like, it just goes wrong or what have you. But I think we've more than reached the point. I think it's a better way to put it, where using revives makes sense. And if I can't get the soul, I'm just being stubborn. I knew I was going to be trying this grind. I will definitely have no qualms using revives. Part of it is that I do have the recoil tree on, and it just doesn't work that well. And so I want to give a couple tries with those off. And OG highlighted that. Dude, I just can't. Thank you so much. If you got any questions or something, please let me know. And always great to see you, buddy.
How hot is it this time, OG Highline?
Yeah. Has it cooled down? Are we down to only 2 sporting balls?
Yeah, but kind of going to your point, it was kind of a question of, I think I used 6 revives this week, and it was the question of, do I use 6 revives and get 25 generic Sig Stones, or do I try for a soul and potentially just lose the Sig Stones? And 25 Sig Stones are just so valuable that 6 revives is really a small price to be paying.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't believe there's only 2 weeks left, right?
Mm-hmm. And one of them's Emma, so we at least know what one of them's going to be.
But is it 2 weeks and then the like extra special treat? Didn't they tease like that? It's like
yeah, I'm confused about that myself. I've seen people say it both ways, that it's either that the 9th week is going to be the boss rush, or there's going to be 9 fights, and then the 10th week will be a special boss rush with like separate things that are not separate from the objectives that are currently happening.
Uh, I still think it's going to get more painful. I thought this week was good. I've enjoyed this week. I also have a stupidly large roster, though. So I think that could come into play a little bit.
Yeah, I started off disliking this week just because I was like, oh, it's you played the game, you take damage back, which are the kinds of nodes that I don't like.
Yeah.
But then as I played it more, I realized like, oh, there are ways you can sort of try to avoid this fight. They tuned down the attack values to make it much more manageable. So it actually started to feel a lot better
Yeah.
as I did it.
Sorry. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, though, because there was definitely times when I first started doing the fight where I was like, okay, I just went from like 60 to dead. Like, that's not fun. I didn't really do anything wrong. And then to your point, though, I started kind of paying attention more to his phases. I can't think of the right term. And like not hitting him before he was about to go into the power gain one, I think it was. Basically, I didn't hit him when he had his like attack bleed one. And I got a solo with Herc, who's incredible, without even going to the mortality. Just because I paid attention to him. Herc can also dish out stupid damage, though, right? Like,
Right.
And then I had an absolute blast using Domino. It was so fun to use Domino and to screw over the opponent instead of it being me getting crit fails all over the place. I had a blast with that.
Yeah. No, I will admit I may have had slightly more than not fun with Domino this week. I can never say that I've ever have fun with Domino, but I'll give her that. I'll give her that.
Yeah, Voodoo's a great option. I use Claire, also spin. Same number of revives, spam the high damage. Makes sense. I've seen some people, I think, have some success with the heal, but that always scares me because when you could take so much damage out of nowhere, going from 30 to 60% health, if you were going to die anyway, I don't know. I would probably just try to get the damage done and then just be efficient with revives like you guys did.
Yeah, it's tricky with Claire because I was also not running Recoil Tree, and also her special 2 has a load of hits, and each one of those hits puts a buff on you, or like a chance to put a buff on you. So her special 2 just put like 5 buffs on you, and it was instant death if you threw it too late.
Okay. Yeah. Why do I want to get America Chavez? Okay, so the short answer is she is a character that I actually really enjoy from the comics, and then I got to know her via a TV show that I watched with my kids. It was called Marvel Rising. I felt like they were putting a lot of effort into it, but this was before the pandemic, and it was actually a show that was on YouTube. And then I feel like they were going to do like a second season. They were actually quite a long length. In fact, a few of them were almost feature film length, like almost an hour or so. They were very good. And I just really liked the champion. That's the short answer. And so she's in the game. If I really thought she was great, I would probably open a few crystals too. But I don't think she is. I think there's a chance that she gets stronger in this game. There's very likely a way for them to put out nodes and defenders, right? Like with Mystic Ward or things like that. I did take some fights with her that really impressed me. In particular, using the Mr. Fantastic pre-fight. Because America Chavez has no way to combat defensive power gain from combat. And that pre-fight he has can help her. And so I like her. I can see some uses, but mainly it's because I'm a fan. I'll get you a couple questions here shortly. Finish up some things around the house. Oh, I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Cosmic was easiest for Angela, made it fairly simple. Tom, did you not throw specials? I've seen a lot of people saying that for whatever reason, throwing specials with Angela caused them to take significant damage.
Yeah, I heard it was bugged that her nullify resistance wasn't working properly.
Really? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have an Angela to use either way, but I did hear that it was causing them some trouble where they'd have like 5 of the placebo buffs on them.
Yeah.
Which should give them complete nullify resistance regardless of the SIG.
Yeah.
And they were still getting nullified and taking the damage.
So there's something about the way placebo is coded or was interacting, huh?
Yeah, either placebo the way it's coded. I'm curious if it also has something to do with stagger not acting as a nullify. Even though I think her sig does specify stagger, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll never really know, right?
Yeah. There's a conversation about how pre-nerf 6.2 champion would be cool to see. I would be very cautiously optimistic about the word cool in that scenario. I know they can do it well. I remember the champion convention clash last year had a really fun champion boss because it was less health, less um no retreat damage, so to speak. I worry if they put no retreat on that fight again.
I don't see the comment. I'm trying to read it in chat. Was that like a general like, hey, we should go back to the non nerfed champion boss, or they're thinking that could be the end of Summer of Pain?
End of Summer of Pain, I think, which I actually find kind of surprising. I was expecting the champion to definitely show up, but I was also expecting 625 Mordo to show up. But since we know that one of the champs has to be Emma, that does unconfirm one of them.
Yeah, I still think that like last week or that final surprise, I think there's a chance, a non-zero chance that we just get blown away by it. That it's like what we suspect, and it's an and situation, not an or. And,
yeah, I agree.
And as someone who, there's a reason why you guys never see me go fight the champion boss when I'm doing champion reviews. Yeah, even though he has been nerfed, I just don't want to go back there. Like, I don't want to ever go back there if I don't ever have to. The first time I got to him, I was stuck. I was completely stuck. And I don't remember if it's quite as like dramatic as I remember it, but I feel like my alliance was in war and I needed to join with like one of the champions I had in. Maybe it was just AQ, but I also had outside time pressures, and I used so many units. I used so many units trying to get that stupid fight down.
That's the worst feeling. Yeah, I mean, I also got completely blindsided by that fight.
Yeah.
So I can relate there.
Yeah.
Have a fun time.
All I know is that the last fight will not provide any points and will rely on its own separate nodes. Yeah, I that's sounding right to me. I think that there's going to be like an additional thing. Like it's not just if it's kind of seems like it might be 2 weeks. I think it's actually going to be like 2 weeks and another fight, or a full third week, or I'm not sure, right? And I think somewhere it said that there'd be 2 weeks to finish it off, like a grace period or something. I don't know.
I would expect them to do that just because of the parry bug. I know they sent an in-game mail that said like they have no idea what the problem is or how to fix it, so here's some compensation, which kind of worries me about both Summer of Pain and Alliance War starting up soon.
The good news is that Alliance War has been delayed. I mean, that's good and bad news.
Oh,
right?
it has?
Yeah.
Did I miss something? What happened?
I think they're just like, we don't know what's going on. We're not sure of what's going on. So let's get a hold of it. Because didn't they have to cancel? Yeah, they had to cancel the last one in the middle of it. And that's not good for business. They don't want to do that. So they're just delaying it and continuing to give us in-game items to keep us happy.
Wow, because like last word I heard, it was going to be August 4th, which was already quite delayed.
Yeah.
Do you know if they gave a timetable on when?
I don't remember. I think it came in-game mail. If you guys correct me if I'm wrong, though. Correct me if I'm wrong. The champion would be next week. That would be fun. I think it could be fun. He is a fun fight. Domino's okay. Yeah, BK. That's what I had fun with. I had fun using Domino. I had recoil on and I used my 5-star max at 5-star. Vega, I am a new Cav and I have no good 6 stars in any class other than Kingpin. Should I go for skill in tier 3 Cascades or some strong class like Mutant? If I'm understanding the question correctly, I think Kingpin is an excellent champion. If like, I did the R3 worthy and it was Kingpin, I would say he's worthy for literally every single class of or account type. He is an excellent champion. So yeah, go for it with him, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I just read it. We will be temporarily delaying the start of Alliance War.
It'd be fun. The pre-fight nerf was amazing. Tom, that's always interesting to me. Like when we get questions like about Abyss or really anything, is how much better I think we as a community are at the game. Like sometimes I think it's just like I got better at the game, and then I realized no. I think as the community we've gotten better. Even just simple tactics like having or like interrupting someone's heavy or having your heavy into theirs. There was a time, I mean, it's years ago now, when like you just didn't do that. Like you used Wolverine in AQ on the debuff immune lane, and you just took blocked hits until their combo was over. You know, so I think we've just improved so much that a champion boss could actually potentially be fun, especially the Summer of Pain setup. Oops, I thought that was going to kill him. Where you get to just go back in. You know, you just get to go back in, which is nice.
Oh yeah, Yellow Jacket showing off that one piece of utility against unblockable specials.
I totally forgot. So that's one of the things I like about Arena. Tom, you're taking off, buddy. You probably already have. Thanks for hanging out. That's another reason why I did kind of want to do an Arena grind, because I'm not just trying to hit a few milestones or getting the milestones while Arena event is up. Is it reminds you of stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. And I do think it can make you're not necessarily going to become a better muscle memory player, but you will become a more knowledgeable player who's less likely to make a mistake that you should have known or could have known when it really matters.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I was mentioning in a chat about how, or I was in the Discord actually, about how I'm so used to fighting champs with their awakened abilities that going back to Act 4 was such a weird slap in the face, because Unstoppable Colossus threw a special and he didn't go unstoppable. And I was just so confused for a moment. And I was like, oh, right, that's only on his awakened ability. And then Work pointedly pointed out that there is a mode of gameplay where you can fight unawakened champions.
Do you remember the kind of experience when all of a sudden they started throwing their SP3s?
Oh, I do. I didn't play Arena much, but God, that stingy AI was always so annoying.
Speaking of annoying, this is annoying.
Yeah, Pug Police said, I always forget Yellow Jacket has really high energy resistance until I fight him with a champ that does mostly energy damage.
Yeah, he's actually a decent champion. I think someone did get the solo. I think I saw a video against Sorcerer Supreme. Like I said, the last 2 days, I've been trying to get as much work done as possible so I could clear my schedule for this potential grind. And then today, I went and had lunch. I checked emails, and I'm already back. But I think I saw someone did get the solo with him.
Interesting. I don't think I saw that.
I subscribe to a lot of channels.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure someone did it. I was just curious as to how they approached it.
About to see my bag.
I can't think of anything that's specifically countering the fight apart from Sim Supreme throws a lot of specials.
Let's see. There's got to be a smart way to do this. I think this is as good as it's going to get. I'm pretty sure there's a delay for the wards. Are we talking about Summer of Pain?
Or maybe Alliance War?
I do that sometimes. I'll jump into like the middle of the chat and then as a result.
No, I just heard the comment and I was trying to extrapolate as well.
It's also weird. Like I'm seeing how much the parry bug still is very much in the game.
Mm-hmm. I really noticed it in AQ. I just could not hit a parry for the life of me.
Yeah. My AQ resources have built tremendously, but I did have to use some revives this last run. It was nice to have the big boy ones too. not the little like tiniest one I usually use because I'm trying to use Corvus or Gilly 99. That wasn't horrible. That wasn't horrible quaking. Got a couple parries in. If I can't get the last Summer of Pain monster, I'm going to be so. Why? What happened, Mega? Did you miss an objective? I'm curious if Mega's still there.
Or maybe it's just going so close yet not being able to finish it.
Yeah.
Because after, like, if you can't do all objectives on the last fight, it makes no sense to even try to do like some of the objectives, right? If you're like, if you've done every objective up until then.
Is that how the math is working out? Because that scares me.
I think it scales such that the second to last milestone is at 23 and the last one is at 27.
Oh no. To me, that shouts the last one's going to be brutal.
I mean, I was expecting the last three to be brutal just by the fact that it increments by 25 generic Sig Stones.
Yeah,
like, that is a lot of Sig Stones.
That's a 50% increase from the next stage down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it goes from 50 to 75.
Yep.
Yeah, Alliance Wars is starting up. Source are going to be my MVP if Champion Boss comes back. I hope so, but what if he has Mystic War?
I mean, that's just going to be Mojo.
Or America Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of places where I think it should be used. But all of his buffs are not permanent, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have permanent buffs and is, unstoppable is limited duration. So Mojo has always been my go-to for the champion.
Yeah, Mojo's
he
the
does
man.
have a lot of block penetration though, especially on the last node.
Yeah. Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to bring in Guardian synergy to help with that.
Nope.
That could be a problem. Hey Vega, how's the grind going? You know, PP, I am really contented with it so far. It's been fun. It's been an absolute blast. You guys all keep showing up. We keep talking and having fun. I've had like MCoC friends on the call literally the whole time. I've been really lucky with that. So it's been an absolute blast. Like, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So we'll see if it's still fun tomorrow. I've been recording like a little like 30 to 45 second snippet before each stream, just kind of checking in, and then I'll try to make a video out of it. And I'm fully expecting my chipperness to go down as we get more into the Friday and Saturday here.
Well, hopefully the chipperness comes back when rewards are distributed.
Yeah, I hope so too. I still think I need to set a goal on what I'm trying to get to, just so that I don't end up. Because what I don't want to do is basically do like 2 or 3 Odins and revives, because then I really should have just opened up crystals.
Right.
Unless, like, I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll see how it goes. I'll make that decision a lot later tomorrow. My frustration comes with cadence and unique abilities. I like to go in and smash, and the game has progress, and so have the mechanics of the champs. Absolutely. That's like, it depends on how long someone's been watching my channel and how closely they watch it, of course. But if someone was watching my channel in the very early days and watching it closely, you know that my game knowledge and skill in the game has improved immensely. And also what I enjoy about the game, it's not surprising in hindsight, but it's not something I would have predicted. What I enjoy about the game has evolved, let's call it evolve. So yeah, so I could see that. I used to just like to go and just smash it out, and I didn't really want to be too fussed with the nuances. So I can understand that for sure. And when you have a big roster,
players as well.
What's that, buddy?
Power creep works for the players as well.
Yeah. Well, it's been an ebb and flow too, because there's been times in the game where I knew the game a lot. I definitely have never been what I would call like a top shelf player. I think I've always been somewhere in like the medium of super premium to as low as probably premium level. You kind of had
Let's
to.
see. OG Highline said, other than practice, 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 what's the secret to mastering Quake? I'm absolutely dog poop with her.
Yeah. Are you a good Quaker?
I've done my fair share of quaking, yeah. A little more than I'd like to admit.
So what I'll give my opinion is you're probably a better Quaker, or you've used her in more content than I have. I've always avoided her like the plague. There was a couple of things in Act 6 where I had to, like I just had to, because it just, at some point you're just like, why are you beating yourself up by not using her? Oh, I thought that fight was over. Keep practicing. One of the things that happened for me was kind of trusting her. Like I really paid too much attention to what visibly was going on and thinking I needed to swipe back a couple times. And what that would often do is create a situation where I was getting hit by the fifth hit in the combo, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was the fourth. I think it was the fifth. Or I'd end up blocking it when I was trying to go, I think touchless is the term. And so kind of trusting her, and then all of a sudden something clicks. People who play Quake kept telling me that. They're like, no, it'll click for you. And I was like, yeah, right. And then it did. And I still never became amazing with her, but I got to the point where I could handle an Act 6 fight, some of those really brutal ones, or I could get through it like in a revive or something like that. And then I got this advice from more than one person, is go do, I think it was Road to the Labyrinth. There's a stun immune. I think it's a Black Panther, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good practice ground too. You have any other tips?
Yeah, I feel like everyone finds their groove with Quake differently. For me, it boiled down to I cannot play Quake quietly. I'm always like counting under my breath. And so every time the opponent hits, I just count. And then every odd count, I sort of do my thumb press. Every even count, I do my thumb dash back. And then by counting the combo, it kind of helped me find a rhythm. I feel like finding the rhythm is the key part. I know some people use sound. So if you turn on in-game noise, the sound can help you get the rhythm of the swiping back and the holding heavy. I use counting combos because I hate playing with sound on. But if you find something that works for you, just getting that rhythm down will help you immensely.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What's up, work? Ozfan said something. I should have checked it out before. What was Ozfan saying?
Let me see. You can't call it a potential grind or you'll talk yourself out of it. It's a grind till it stops being one. Very true words there.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. And you are right. You're 100% right. I just know me. Like, I'm shocked. Like, my shoulders, my back are kind of starting to ache, but they're not that bad. Like, I am very, very pleased at how well this is going. I just don't want to full embrace it yet. But you're absolutely correct. I think I just did exactly what he was saying not to do, but...
Grinfeld said, hey Vega, I got a 5-star Venom from the GMC. How he is? Or how is he?
He's awesome. I really think there's an argument for him to be a top shelf champion in my rankings. I know a lot of people feel that Venom Pool is going to make him obsolete. I don't think so. We won't know until Venom Pool buff goes live, and of course, I think then it's going to take a lot of time. And also in a game with like over 200 champions, I think there is a world where both of them can exist and be very, very valuable. Like, I mean, just look at our Magnetos. But I think he's great. Congratulations on that pool.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah. Mystic Ward is long shot territory? Yeah, that's right, because he's got the plus 300, doesn't he? I just don't like long shot. I don't think you're supposed to like him.
I think it's also because, like, even if there's Nullify immunity, Fate Seal bypasses it as well.
So that'll be Hood as well then, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I think Angela's struggling in Summer of Pain, just because the way staggers and fate seals are coded are that they're not really a nullify.
Yeah.
Work said want someone to balance out the chipperness.
Always. Yeah, man. Hop on. Are you talking about on the call? Absolutely. The thing is, I'm not sure if he means your chipperness or mine. Or if he just means like the two of us together. Being like,
Well,
hey, great pool. That's awesome.
he can also balance out the interest in actually playing Arena as a game mode.
This is true. Fluffy Pig Monster, thanks for showing up, man. Yeah, dude, I'm serious. I am going to go until I can't. I've cleared my schedule work-wise, and I would really like to get her. I'm a fan, you know? And so I would really like to get her. I think she'll have uses, too. I think this is good for me. I don't know if I'm going to do it once a month, but I have talked to, my wife. I'm married, and I love my wife. I love spending time with my family. And I talked to my wife, and she seems pretty supportive of me doing this every once in a while. So I don't think I'll be doing it all the time, but I do think it's good for me. I think it's good for the channel. So I'm motivated to keep doing it. Do we know the champions are coming out next month?
Yeah, I think it's been leaked. I don't know where the source is, but the rumor is Penny Parker and Spider-Man 2099.
Okay. But it hasn't, Kabam hasn't officially said.
Penny Parker is 100% confirmed in my opinion, because Kabam, you know how they released those little videos at the beginning of the month?
Yeah.
Yeah, Penny Parker was definitely in there. In the thumbnail for that video. It's not released yet, but it's scheduled to in like a day or two. I think tomorrow, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So Penny Parker is definitely confirmed, which makes me think the second half of the leak is probably correct.
I'm pretty excited for that. That's it's got like I think it's called a scrunchie, like a red scrunchie is on the desk or something, right? Next to engineering plans. Am I talking about something totally off?
What?
In other news, does anyone know what I'm talking about? I thought it was on Twitter. Anyways, yeah, sometimes I talk crazy.
I don't have a Twitter account, so I don't really check it that much. So I might have missed. Oh, okay, I just saw what you're talking about. Yes, that is 100% Penny Parker.
Good. I got a little concerned that I spoiled something that I'm definitely not supposed to.
No. I just don't check Twitter.
Good. Okay, good. I'm safe. I'm like, you guys like somehow see my CCP get stripped from me live. That'd be pretty embarrassing.
Fluffy Pig Monster said some champs mess you up with Quake. That is definitely a good shout out. Animations can make things tricky. I don't know if you guys remember the Summoner Showdown from last year, if you guys kept up with it. I remember one time when Anger Danger picked Quake, and the counterplay was Tigra, which originally wouldn't make too much sense because Tigra doesn't have any strict evade counter, but just because of Tigra's animations, she trips people up so much.
How did it go?
Anger Danger got through it pretty well, actually. That guy is very good with Quake.
Yeah, I only watched a few, and I just was like, okay. The skill level here is outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to reverse Quake like crazy, which is like instead of heavy dex, you dex heavy.
Yeah. Which would you use as 6-star generic gem? Let's get to this. Nick or Archangel?
Ooh. I think it comes down to who else is in your roster at that point.
Yeah. Who do you like better? Both are completely worthy. Both get so much from that awakened ability, as you know, hence the question, obviously.
Archangel, for me, it's kind of like Archangel has damage, he gets utility. Nick has utility, he gets damage. Actually, he gets utility and damage. I feel like Nick's benefit is a lot more.
Yeah, I wasn't going to nitpick you on that one, though. Like, because I understood what you meant, and I think it holds. So Jeez Louise, that is...
It's a tough choice.
Yeah, I mean, but and I think Ostfan answered it 100%. Actually, that's a great question. Like, whoever you're ranking up, for sure, too, right? I mean, hold on to that until you're taking them to rank 3 or to rank 2 if maybe you don't have them as a rank 5 star or something like that. But they're both... I mean, those are like the ideal champions to use a 6-star Awakening Gem on, because they just get so much from that Awakened ability. Congratulations. Curious who you go with. If you're still around, let us know who you're leaning towards.
Yeah, this might be a bit of a hot take, but I do feel like there are other champions who do what Nick can do Awakened. There are not as many that can do what Archangel can do Awakened.
Let me think.
I said, a bit of a bold generalization.
Let me think that through. No, I think that makes sense. It definitely makes sense. I think I might agree with it. Oh, but see, I'm also someone though, and this is why I'm hesitant. James, this is Spinnaker3. Runs a really awesome channel. There is a lot of Mojo content. There's also a lot of content on other champions and just basically like how to play the game. Just kind of like for some info. And Spin, why don't you share out your channel? We'll put that on the pinned comment there.
Sure thing.
I'm not saying Spin's channel is exactly like KT1's. It's not what I'm saying. But I like them for the same reason that I've watched KT1's quite a bit. Is there's a lot of explaining as to what is going on in the video. Sometimes I don't even have to watch the video. I'm just listening to it. And I'm soaking up, like, I am becoming better at this. Those are the types of videos I like. And so that's why I like their channels. And so Spinnaker and I actually met... I think you were commenting on my videos, right? And we realized we both loved Mojo.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, and then you joined the Discord channel and or the Discord server was really active there, and kind of just went from there. I've been great, buddy. How have you been, James? Sparrow, what's up, dude? It's morning for you, huh? All right, good morning. Florian. Who just arrived? Who were you talking about? We were talking about, we got the question on using the 6-star generic on Blade, or not Blade, on Fury or on Archangel. And Spin, I have to kind of maybe agree with you, but I the reason I'm hesitant is that it's like my own personal bias in that I did not have Fury for so long as a 6-star. And I was definitely at the point where like Act 7, you got the nice benefit from using 6 stars. And in War, you wanted the extra health pool of your 6-star rank 3s. That like, I almost felt like I didn't need him anymore. I might have been kind of convincing myself of that, but I did start to feel that way. I then also got Archangel and awakened him and took him to rank 3 very early on in like our games community and was using him in War for multiple seasons. So I'm kind of biased towards Archangel,
right.
Which doesn't really take away from what you said, but like I'd love to hear, like if Work jumps on the call, I'd love to hear what he has to say, or if anyone in the chat is having like a strong reaction to it.
I mean, I will say like what Nick can do to counter miss is very, very good.
Yeah.
And probably unrivaled. I'm trying to think of other really good miss counters.
It was brought up today. I focused so much on Professor X being a great evade counter, but I was reminded today that he's also a miss counter. And that's the same.
Oh. Yeah, no, he is. He's 100% a miss counter. I can't believe I forgot.
Yeah.
I really want one. It's like a 5 or 6 star.
His damage is just so good that I think we often forget about the utility that he brings to the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and his is probably easier to get up than Nick's.
Yeah, you just got to get to 25 channeling charges.
Yeah.
MSD, what's up, dude? Yeah, dude. When I grind, I guess it's more frequent. I love streaming though, so this is fun. I'm really glad we're getting to do it. Speaking of Nick, I'll wait for my Nexus from Summer Pain. Pick Mutant. Maybe I'll get lucky. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I hear what you're saying. And there's so many good mutants that's a good call. There's a lot of good skills now too. I still think mutant has more breadth. Let's call it. I'm actually excited about that. I did not realize it was a class Nexus.
Mm-hmm. It's very exciting. This event in general has been very exciting. Just the kind of rewards it's given for the amount of effort. I know people have been complaining about the level of difficulty.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not. I think my roster size definitely contributes to that impression.
I will say that complaining that it has not been hard enough to me is just the ultimate sign that Kabam can't win. They cannot win the public perception game when it comes to us as an MCoC community. Like,
yeah, I agree.
You know, and I get it. I get it that some people want a harder challenge. I totally respect that. I 100% respect that. What I'm saying is our community is just so broad, and the skill sets and the roster sizes are just so broad that there's no way for Kabam to make everyone happy. It's just not possible.
I agree. Like Acid Wash Mysterio, which was one of the fights in SOP that I probably enjoyed the most in terms of fight design, was also one of the least well received.
Which Mysterio?
The Acid Wash one?
But that was the one where we could armor break him, right? Like by throwing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I really like that fight design where it's like, you know, you give something tough that's a challenge, but you also give a way of making it slightly easier.
Yeah. Mumu's saying they have an R3 APOC. I still think that makes your decision really tough. I just pressed a button and I did not mean to. I'm curious what this does in game. Hopefully I didn't just like exit the arena or something. Work, did you join the call, dude?
Yeah, what's up, gents?
What's up, buddy?
Hello, Work.
I'm going to raise your volume.
How you guys doing?
I'm going to raise your volume just a little bit here, Work.
I think I was actually mentioning you earlier, Work, in terms of advising me to actually do arena.
Yeah, I was kind of lurking at the time. I was feeding my dogs and stuff. With your unduped opponents.
Yep.
If anyone in the chat could let us know, can you hear both Spin and Work well? So I'm kind of getting to an interesting point here. I can go pretty far down in my 5-0, right? And not face a death squad, if I remember correctly.
Rank 3s are fine by themselves.
Okay.
Rank 2s, I usually mix. Like, I'll do, like, my 2 highest rank 3s and my lowest rank 2, and kind of work my way to the middle, is what I typically do.
Okay. When I get there, I might need a refresher. I'm still kind of fumbling around a little bit on this. The 6 stars, I think I spent a little too much time trying to look for like perfect synergies and stuff like that, as opposed to just kind of getting it done.
Yeah, I waste a lot of time doing that myself.
Yeah.
It's not really helpful for a grind, but I do it anyway.
Well, if you're grinding, like, I mean, this is just different, right? Like, I'll go for milestones, or like I said, I like to do this to just try to become better at the game or to remember abilities. But this is a very different animal, and therefore requires a different approach, I think.
Oh, for sure. I still have a bad habit. Like, I did synergies the whole way through that cable grind.
Yeah, as I'm saying this,
a lot of time doing it.
Yeah, as I'm saying this, I still just loaded up the Domino Trinity. So, you know.
I usually don't bother with it once I get to, like, my less desirable champs, like my rank 3 5 stars or the bottom of my 6 stars and stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pug Police, I plan to pick Mutant Nexus for SOP2. Would love a Professor X. Yeah, I think that's why. I think Mutant, unless there's someone specific you're targeting, Mutant's the way to go. I'm just gonna go science in hopes of getting iHulk or awakening my She-Hulk.
Warwick, how would you weigh in on the AA versus Nick debate? I don't know if you were there for it. You said you were working.
No, I'd gotten a phone call while I think you guys were talking about it. My boss had called. What was the debate between AA and Nick?
Generic. Awakening Gem.
Man, that's a toughie. Man, Nick's just so good, but so is AA. So I've heard, at least.
I think I tried to make the point along the lines of how Nick, there are other champs that can do what he can, and at least in a higher quantity than there are champs that can do what AA can.
I mean, AA stops healing and shuts down ability accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
There are champs that can do that. They just typically don't come with anywhere near as much damage associated with them.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I think this is truly like just how you come down on it. That's why it's been. I was like, I don't disagree with you. I just feel like my game experience might be making me biased towards AA.
Right. I don't think there's really a bad call between the two, to be honest, though.
Absolutely.
I mean, unless you just have, if you've got a lot of other AAR champs or a lot of other like miss evade counters, then yeah, that might swing you one way more so than the other. But just like a like for like, no other context, which is the better choice? Man, that's a coin flip if you ask me.
Yeah.
Speaking of skill champs and tough decisions, someone asked King Pig. I think they meant Kingpin or Mole Man better.
I think some people use that as a nickname for him.
Really?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. He's got a lot of nicknames. Kind of happens to guys like him. But I would go Kingpin absolutely, hands down. Like, don't even have to think twice. But I that's just me. What do you guys think?
I have a hard time recommending Mole Man to anybody while he's still bugged.
Yeah. I'm with you on that
until Kabam either fixes him or comes out and says they're leaving him the way that he is, he basically doesn't exist to me.
I think it's tough. I know that I think KT1 took Ultron to rank 3, which I've been really tempted to test him and do like a rank 3 worthy on him. But I haven't because my understanding is he's bugged. And I think it's really hard to extrapolate and decide this is what a champion will be like once they're fixed.
Well, his main bug, at least like pro bug, is the special 3 stacking damage, isn't it?
I honestly don't know.
I think he can also be slowed.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about like the beneficial bug for Ultron right now. His main bug is the special 3 basically infinitely stacking damage.
Are you sure it doesn't have anything to do with his functions, like when you do the heavy?
Not as far as I understand. His other bugs, let's see, is that he can be slowed. There was another one.
He could be poisoned, but I think they fixed that one.
Yeah, no, that one's not a problem anymore. Actually, I watched KT's video on his Ultron rank up earlier, and he was talking about it.
Well, then he could just avoid that then. Are you guys seeing this, by the way? This person has Stand Your Ground and Recoil Tree on. What is that all about?
I run Max Stand Your Ground all the time.
Do you really?
I don't have either of those.
Yeah, I'm sure people just love matching me in arena. I run Max Stand Your Ground and Max MD, basically at all times.
I am glad I never see you in arena. Let's just
Max Limber?
And Max Limber, in fact.
And Assassin?
No Assassin. I pretty much never run that.
Let's see. To be honest, the complaining about SOP felt like people boosting their egos, but that's probably just me. Yeah, I can see it that way. I think people were genuinely looking for a serious challenge, though.
Yeah, and they were. I mean, I was surprised by the level of what we got. To be honest, I'm not upset.
Yeah,
I think it's odd that they're offering out what they are for what we've had to face so far, at least.
I completely agree with you.
I have sensed, it's different people, right? I'm sure we're not talking about the exact same people. The few people I know who I communicate with or whatever who have talked about it being a little too easy or something, I have not gotten the sense that they are stroking their own egos. I think that they genuinely were just hoping for something more difficult. They're excellent players, and we're hoping for some sort of challenge that they're not getting from it. That's been my sense, but again, I'm only in one, it's not even big, line chat that isn't my own alliance. Like, I'm just not in a lot of that in my own Discord. If someone started saying stuff like that, we'd probably just like, I don't think anyone would, I don't know. I don't think I am in worlds where we're seeing that a lot. So, yeah.
My issue, or I shouldn't say my issue, my one caveat there is that people who wish that something was harder, like, you as a player have a choice of what to take into content. And I'm not going to use that as like justification or anything, but like, are they wishing that it's harder so that other players aren't allowed to rise up as much as they are for the effort, or are they genuinely wishing for it to just be hard on them?
Well, no. As somebody who's complained about things being dumbed down significantly over the last year plus in the game for extended periods of time, the whole thing is like you're constantly chasing like roster progression in this game. Like we chase rank 4s, rank 5s, rank 2s, now rank 3s. But at this point, it's like, what's the point? Outside of war, what do you need? What do you need a bunch of rank 3s for? Literally nothing. Absolutely nothing. And now we're already getting rank 4s before we even needed rank 3s, technically.
That's true.
That's always been my complaint. Is like I got to a point like not that long ago where I was just like, I don't even know why I'm chasing anything in this game anymore. There's no point to it. Like, what's the difference between having 20 or 30 rank 3s? I don't even need 6.
It's actually a very good point.
I hear you and I agree with you. I think that also contributes to my opening less crystals and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of have to have played the game that way to understand that, like to realize these like cascading effects of those things. And it is part of why I think that it makes a lot of sense for the prestige race to start heating up. And I think that's probably part of why BAM, I believe, truly wants to get war fixed ASAP. I don't believe they're contented with war either.
I would hope not.
It's interesting because I'm a player who started like January of last year, and I've already been able to make it up to 7.2 without having pretty much any rank 3s. So I do see your point. It's like, what is the point?
Because like when Act 6 initially came out, that was tough. Like even for somebody like myself, who had a large roster, like those initial health pools and attack values, man, that was punishing. Bad. Like you make any mistake and it was just instant death.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna stretch for like 30 seconds, so the be right back screen will be on while the game reloads. But we're not really going anywhere.
Anything in Act 7 for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
There's Alliance War, but even Alliance War, the only reason you need high rank champs in Alliance War is because I've been playing in competitive wars again. So if you're going up against rank 3s, you're probably going to want to use rank 3s.
Right.
But there's nowhere else that they're needed at all. So a lot of people like myself have been like, okay, if you're going to take all the difficulty, you're going to take the difficulty out of war, you're going to take it out of AQ, you're going to take it out of story content, like you're going to take it out of EQ, because we got Cab EQ, which was a joke to anybody who had a large roster.
Yeah.
So what does that leave the people who have spent all this time building a roster? Like, really nothing.
That's true.
So when they advertise Summer of Pain as, oh, this is for people who rolled through Abyss easily and all this stuff, and it comes out and people are cheesing it with Magneto and less than 20 hits. It's kind of like, what?
Well, we know how you feel about Magneto choosing content.
Yeah, it's not a secret.
No, I think that's a very fair point. I will say though, I think Gauntlet versus Summer of Pain is definitely a consideration in terms of like Cav content versus Thronebreaker content. But then there comes the objectives and all. It's difficult to strike that balance of making content like less restrictive so that you can use those other champions, which is what their goal is with Act 7, without making it too easy for those top-notch champions.
Oh, for sure. And I genuinely think their shift in direction for story content was better for the game in general. Because while people with a roster my size may have been able to deal with pre-Nerf Act 6 and wherever they were going forward from that point, it was a bit of a stretch to ask like a lot of other players to be able to deal with that without needing to just cheese through it with somebody like Quaker Ghost.
Yeah.
So I've come around to that to where it's like, all right, well, cool. Like that's better for the majority of the player base. But the thing is, you still need to give something for the people that got through the original version of Act 6. They still need something to do now.
Right. They've definitely stopped.
I want to put a pin in this and then come back to it because I do think it is interesting. But there ended up being a lot of questions on. I'm seeing a lot of questions on Moldude. Here's my take on Moldude, guys. I really like him. I take him to R3. I don't know him tremendously well because I took him straight to R3. He got placed on war defense, and then skill just became amazing. And I've been ranking up all these skill champions since then. He is currently not working as he's supposed to. He's keeping his True Strike a lot longer. And I think once you have to start making a decision on whether you want to utilize that part of his utility and then therefore decrease maybe your ultimate damage output, it might change some people's minds on how good or how much they like him, let's say. I think if you already have him at rank 3 Moldude and he gets fixed, I don't think you're going to now regret it. I don't think he's going to become like a terrible champion. I think he'll still be very worthy of ranking 3. But I think if you have him at rank 2 or rank 1 and you haven't needed him yet, try to hold off and see if he gets fixed. I know it's always tough because you never know when the fix is going to come. Like, I understand that. But if you haven't needed him yet and an event doesn't come up where you need him, maybe just hold off. That would be my advice on Moldude.
I'm pretty much with you on that one.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be a bad champ at all. If he does ever get fixed, I still think he's going to be super useful.
Yeah.
I just don't think people should base the opinion on ranking him now on assuming he's going to stay the way that he is currently.
I think we've probably reached a point where a lot of people don't even realize it.
I know for a fact that a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I've talked to so many people who don't.
If we got any questions in the chat from people saying like, what are you guys talking about? No. Oh, hey, dude, what's up? This is kind of a funny question. Hopefully you're still there. I, in my head, read your name as USO Hot. But you comment on so many videos. I always enjoy going back and forth with you. If you could, like, somehow show me how I'm supposed to pronounce your username, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. That's awesome.
It kind of looks like, when people are talking to each other and they're like, oh, you so hot. Like, oh, you are so hot, but minus the R.
Yeah. It does look like that. I wonder if that's what it is. Anyways, that happens. You guys know I'm not able to get to every comment like I used to. I used to get to literally everything, and I just can't nowadays. But I still love reading the comments. I really, really do.
Oh, someone did end up asking, wait, I rank forward my mole man recently, what's the bug with him? Just to quickly elaborate on that, essentially the way mole man is supposed to work is that under 10 monster mass, he's supposed to gain his true accuracy, which allows him to prevent evade. But that true accuracy is supposed to go away when he enters frenzy and gets his guaranteed crits on every hit. The issue that's happening right now is that if you enter frenzy while you're under 10 monster mass, so if you're between like 5 to 10 in that range and you enter frenzy, you keep your true accuracy through the entire duration of frenzy, which means you get both the guaranteed crits and the ability to prevent evade.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you see how good Strife is, by the way, guys?
Yeah, he murdered that arena fight.
Dude, he demolished that guy. He demolished that. So those of you who aren't in the Discord server don't know that there's a long-running joke now. There are a few of us who think Strife is an excellent champion. And there are a lot of us who think, or a lot of people, because I'm not part of that group, who think he's pretty much a waste of pixels, from best I could tell.
That's a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah.
But it was funny.
Yeah, and I guess the gist is probably there with most people. I think most of us just think he's a really good champ that has literally no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
No purpose, waste of pixels. I don't see those being too far off. like unless you need a cut rate Aegon replacement for Abyss, I don't really know where he fits in.
A cut rate Aegon replacement. Oh, it's hysterical. Oh, it is You So Hot. I can't believe I've been reading it wrong, man. Oh, all this time. You know what? I think the reason it is I played this game forever ago with a guy named USA Busa, and he had a motorcycle as his profile picture, and so I think I just went with that. But yeah. So tough because it needs to be accessible. I barely just became a Thronebreaker, and Summer Paint is going to give me my 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's awesome.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Is that exactly you, Spin?
Yeah, I have 2, and that's going to give me my 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
So I also wondered that, right? I mean, for a long time, I've been talking about, like, Kabam is a for-profit company. They make money, they make a game, but they make their money by entertaining us, right? But they need to make money off of it. And I wonder if that's what their stats have shown them, is that there is this large group of players who started the game in the last, 2 years, and they're coming up. So this is, their opportunity to kind of catch up. They're massive, in-game players or massive whales. They're not going anywhere for the most part. Give them some time to catch up. Don't make this content necessarily easier, but make it more accessible. Come out with some tough events like Summer of Pain and Gauntlet that challenge us a little bit, give, in-game something to do. And then they've really set up nicely for another 2 or 3 years of a progression. I'm extrapolating a little bit there and what have you, but I could see that. Kabam knows, I'm not saying they get everything right. I think there's a reason for a lot of what they do.
Oh, I fully think the entire purpose of the Summer of Pain rewards is to catapult a bunch of more people from that late calf player that don't really want to push content.
Yeah.
To get them over the line, which will then preface us getting a new title very soon.
I could see that. See you later, James. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
It's going to get people to catch up to being Thronebreaker that were close but aren't really doing what they need to do to get there. And then they'll just go ahead and lop the top of that groove off with a new title.
And you think it'll be with 7.3 or something?
I don't think it's going to be as close as 7.3, maybe 7.4. I mean, it could be 7.3, but...
It could be 7.3 with an R4 requirement.
I'm almost dead certain that a rank 4 is going to be part of that requirement, which is why I'm thinking maybe 7.4 as opposed to 7.3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because couldn't a very recent Thronebreaker who's been purchasing the deals and doing the content get a rank 4 at the same time as someone with like with a ton of rank 3s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess wouldn't necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't care. If I try to put myself in Kabam's shoes, I don't know if I would necessarily see that as like a bad thing though either.
I mean, the same thing happened with Thronebreaker though. I mean, there were people that were just struggling to get their first rank 3 whenever that went out, and there were those of us that had 10 rank 3s and had fully explored the original Act 6 already whenever the title went live.
Yeah.
Like,
That's right.
There's been a significant day one gap for the last couple of titles at least. So,
oh man, you know what I hope doesn't happen? I hope they don't time it so it's like right before Cyber Weekend, you know, and then there's that big push to get the new title.
I'm not sure that they will on this one, just because there's gonna have been no way to get that title with just doing content by then.
Mm-hmm.
You will have
I fully
had to
expect
have
them.
like bought deals to get there, and if they introduce a new title with a new set of offers right before like a big sale that you had to spend to get there, oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. The
I
feedback.
do expect them to use gifting though. Like exploit the heck out of players with gifting.
Oh, 100%. They always do.
Yeah, I don't think gifting's going anywhere.
No. And they're going to dangle that rank 4 carrot. You can bank on it.
You think that'll be the first accounts with 2 rank 4s?
Possible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised for them to lump up like a full set of rank 4 mats as the number 1 gifting prize. I wouldn't be shocked to see that at all.
Because we will not have had 7.4 by then. Because 7.3 is coming out in October, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think somewhere around there, yeah.
No, Natalie, you are never late. You are never late. You are just when you intended to arrive. And we're just getting started, I think. That's my plan. We'll have to see what my the cooldowns on my roster are doing. But I think if I'm really going to do this and do this with little to no refreshes, I don't think I'm going to be able to rely on just my 5s and my 6s. Natalie, the lovely one. Oh, this is work in progress in Spinnaker 3 from the Discord server.
What's up, Nat?
Hello, NP.
Tilla. What's up, Tilla? You ready for a new title too? Yeah, it is time. It has been a while. I feel like I read somewhere too that maybe that hadn't been the original plan, or maybe it was like Cam was theorizing it. That Thronebreaker was kind of thrown together. Something had happened recently, and they kind of had to throw it together. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it was originally intended for 7.2. But whenever they had to like basically slam the brakes on content and go back and rework Act 6 and push back Act 7, they ended up kind of just cramming it in right before Cyber Weekend instead.
Yeah. Okay.
Alicia is asking a question that I think I have asked many times, and Work's response may be predictable here, but how to get gold to rank up my champion? Work, do you want to take that one again?
Arena.
Yeah.
Arena and or incursions are both great sources of gold.
Yeah, those are the good recommendations for gold.
Yeah, I feel that, Alicia. I think I was down after I took She-Hulk to level 25, rank 1. I was at 12 gold.
This also depends on where you are in the game, Alicia. Like, if you're like just starting out, Arena is not a good thing for you. It is actually terrible. But if you've been playing for a while and you have even like a decent 4-star and 3-star roster built up, you can grind Summoner Trials and get plenty of gold.
Those you're still in a special bracket like the first couple months playing the game, right?
I don't even know how that works now anymore, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I don't know how it works now. I know it used to be like 1 month you are in the lower bracket, and it's pretty easy for you to get the 4 stars with your account.
Yeah. Yeah, and I recall them saying they kind of wanted to revamp the whole starting of the game process again, and I think that's probably smart. Oh, I'm still at my rank fours. I thought I was at my rank threes. I was getting a little nervous with who I was bringing in.
I mean, to the point you just said, and I know a bunch of people who started new accounts, but MSD said, "Guys, I'm playing my FTP account on an Android I got for $95. This is wild." I guess he wasn't talking about starting a new account. He was probably talking more so about the Android iPhone difference, which is a whole nother beast of a topic altogether. But I do know that like it is so easy to blitz through acts 1 through 4 now that there is no incentive to one explore for most newer players. At least I'm speaking from personal experience when I said there was zero incentive for me to try and explore those acts when like your account grows so fast that you're able to tackle act 5 within like the first 3 or 4 days of your account.
Yeah, the leveling up is odd. Yeah, I kind of almost don't want to bring up the whole like early game playing experience conversation, but I think it's still currently set up to get you to open crystals and things like that. So, yeah.
I mean, just the fact that Kabam, didn't they remove like the lowest difficulty from the EQ or the SQ? I forget which one.
No, it's the EQ. Yeah, they did.
It was the EQ. I mean, yeah, I feel like that just shows that they're really expecting players to just swoop past that first part of the game.
Yeah. Well, remember I did do like an alt account for a while, and that was a lot of fun. And I think it was Act 4 that I just was mowing through it. Obviously, I knew how to play the game, so that contributes to it. But it was Act 4, just mowed through it, was having fun, had not spent a dime, and then my account was not ready for Act 5. It just wasn't, or at least it was going to be brutal viewing. And I was like, okay, no one wants to see this. And to get like extra mastery points and the various crystals and things, I was going to need to 100% Act 4, and Act 4 was massive. And so it just came to the point of like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it was pretty simple.
And to your point, I still have not fully explored Act 4.
Yeah. I can see why,
Yeah. Autoplay makes it much nicer though now.
Yeah,
But
like
that's
once you
have rank 5s.
once you get to that point to where like you realize that you just skipped it over and you should have did it forever ago, your roster's big enough to where you can just auto fight most of it.
And that's probably true. Mr. WTF, what's up, dude? Myself, I always have. Yeah, that's why I don't give gold advice. I'm sure you guys have seen the gold on the account. That's why, is because I did not go the smart route.
I mean, that's why you're doing this grind, right? You're short on gold.
Yeah, trying to. I can't afford AQ. It's gotten a little pricey.
Try to get ahead for those map 8 tickets.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna like increase the price by 1,000,000%, and I'm worried. Oh man, MSD game just crashed 4 minutes in, already feeling that monetary value. Oh man.
Yeah, I've heard that the Android support is very poor.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Compared to iPhone.
Ben, I think you were in the chat this morning, and Work, I know you were too, but obviously you're in the chat, so I don't know how much you guys were actually able to listen. It was brought up that there might be a special bug, and I could swear I just experienced it in that last fight.
I've seen people talk about it. I have yet to experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same as Work. I want to say KT1 made a video, although I have not checked it out yet.
He makes so many videos. That's actually why I no longer feel like I can talk very intelligently about his channel. It's because I can't watch them all. Like, and I often, in fact, I watch less than. There are more videos he makes that I don't watch than I do because I just literally can't. It's just not possible.
He switched to full time, right?
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, congratulations to him. His thumbnails look excellent. The production value on his streams has increased incredibly. Looks good. I feel like he and Mando have like a nice little rhythm, which is helpful. So it's paid off, and I think it's probably a more fun channel to watch in general. But
he's definitely putting in the work now for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But for someone like me who likes to watch like a variety of channels and things like that, it's tough. It's tough. There's just a lot of them.
It is a lot to keep up with.
All right. Pause button doesn't work. We're cooking with you. I feel like MSD's commentary has been really funny to read. Like every 3 minutes, there's just this kind of like, I'm sensing a lot of sarcasm.
No, really. What gave it away?
Yeah. Some people say I'm slow to pick up on things, but I feel like he's being sarcastic.
I played on Android for years when I first started. Like it was only, what was it, 2, maybe 3 years ago? Actually, probably 2 years ago, 2.5, that I swapped over to iOS when I started playing on an iPad.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've just always.
That's why I never got a Legends badge, because I had an Android and I tried once and just it wasn't possible.
Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, funnily enough, I feel like the issue has gotten worse just because champions now have flashier animations. And I heard a lot of stories of like Apocalypse would throw a special one and then your game would just crash because the game couldn't handle his beams.
Yeah, I know Arcus wrecked people when he came out. But I can't even play. I can't play on my phones at all anymore. I can barely even do an arena. I got so used to playing on an iPad Pro that I can't play on a smaller screen.
Really? I only exclusively use my phone.
I can't do it anymore. I get wrecked.
Switching back and forth is impossible for me. I knew some excellent players who played on iPads and iPads only. And so I tried it for a while, and I actually saw what they were talking about. Like, I felt like I could just see things more, or see more of what was going on. I think that's a better way to put it. But then I often find myself where, just the way it is, especially with kids, like I couldn't just connect my iPad. I didn't have it with cell service, so I'd end up playing on my phone, and I found that switching back and forth was really difficult. So
it's horrible.
Yeah, I just went straight to phone.
I can imagine.
I can play pretty proficiently on both.
And are we supposed to be surprised by this? For those who don't know, that was MSD.
Listen, I had to kind of train for that for Comic-Con, so I've gotten pretty comfortable with using the iPad. I don't find that much of a difference with the... I mean, of course the screen's bigger, but I don't find the style of play any different. It's just sometimes the iPad's a little slower than the phone.
Okay, guys, breaking news, MCoC community. You heard this. You heard it here first. Metal Sonic Dude is good at Marvel Contest of Champions.
Oh, man. So you've been hearing my commentary on the Android experience.
Yeah, what happened? So you bought a new Android phone for $95?
Yeah, so I bought a phone for like other work reasons, and I was like, you know what, I've got the free-to-play account, so I'm gonna load it up on the phone and see what happens. So after 2 hours of trying to get the app to finally open, it worked. So this is like 10 minutes in. The game's crashed twice on Netflix Daredevil. It crashed.
Yes.
And the pause button doesn't work. So
but aside from
my
that,
heart goes out to Android players.
Yeah, and the morning stream we were saying that Android players are not experiencing the parry bug. Some said they weren't experiencing it at all. And
no, I feel like they experience the parry bug every day.
So they're just used to it? I guess they're normal?
Yeah, this is like... I couldn't imagine playing like this running on my main account. I feel like I quit.
Well, the thing is, like, there's such a vast, like, number of just Android phones out there that the performance between your flagship stuff and the phone that you just went and picked up for $90 is going to be massively different.
Of course, true. And I didn't expect this phone to be like, oh my god, this is going to be my new main. But Yeah, I definitely understand when people get upset about using androids to play the game. I now see what they're talking about.
Perspective is a beautiful thing. Mr. WTF, thank you, dude. Diablo has completely blown me away as a champion. I could not be more impressed. And I did that kind of initial Ring 3 video on him because I took him to Ring 3 and just was amazed at what he was doing. And that did really well. And I got so many questions about like his SIG ability, if I thought he was going to be good without recoil tree masteries, and I think it was Mystic Dispersion. And so I was like, I got to do a deep dive on this guy. So thanks for watching it. I'm really glad. Those take a ton of time. And when you do, like, at least in my experience, when I do like a 30-minute and above video, it tends to not get as many views. And I understand, because people are like, dude, I don't have 30 minutes to listen to you explain Diablo. But the people that do watch it seem to really appreciate it. So I enjoy making those. So I appreciate you saying that. Spider Pig was wrecking Alliance War when he came out. I love Spider Pig. And I feel like he's getting used more and more and stuff. So I am a happy camper when it comes to the pig. Arcus messes himself up regularly. His SP3 makes him go negative. Snoops, what's up, dude? Hey, I'm sorry that I never found the video that did the shout out. I will continue to look for it because I have it. I have an idea of when it came out, and it was, like I said, it was in type. I made it red, if that makes any difference. But very similar to you, I tend to often listen to videos, or I'm not like fully engaged all the time. So I completely understand why when I do little shout outs, a lot of people don't hear them or see them, which makes it even more difficult. Not everyone can be like work and get their avatar on the thumbnail.
Oh God. Yeah.
So are we officially associating it with work?
I when it was suggested in the stream, I felt like it was being suggested to name it after work, or at least in spirit, right? Because it's Wayland in progress, and I was like, yes, absolutely, I love this. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got a few of those emotes today.
I think I might have popped one too.
Dude, Mobius is here. What's up, dude? I use iPad Pro and Android. Interesting. Both play well. For me, I'm guessing low-end Android users aren't that great. I think the point Work made was excellent. Like, if people are saying they're playing on the iPhone, they're playing on the iPhone, right? But Android is was that like the software that goes in it, or just the system, the operating system they use?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you've got a plethora of skins that go on top of those OSs from each manufacturer.
Yeah.
It's between like hardware and software differences, you just have just a huge range of. So I'm not really surprised that things don't operate as well on it.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's a much harder thing to optimize for.
Hayden, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for stopping by. How are you doing? Does anyone think that there might be like a secret use to MCoC that we just haven't figured out yet?
I don't.
How do I say no, but in a nice way?
He looks cool.
Does he though? Does he look cool?
He has a synergy with Psycho
I
Man.
kind of like it.
There it is, saving grace, Psycho Man.
Absolutely. Which is what everyone wanted.
He's really great to bring along if you like Crossbones.
Is he? So he's basically like the new. He's basically like the new Deadpool X-Force, where he's just like someone you just throw on the team for the synergies.
Yeah, basically, it's what it's looking like, or somebody that you stick on defense.
I'd like to think he has a few more redeeming qualities than Deadpool X-Force, though. Just a few.
You guys are making me want to find a use for him. Him and Strife. I'm going to join a war next season with Strife and a MCoC and make a video and show it to the Discord server.
Only those two, that's it? No third slot?
Yeah, I mean, Taters will kick me before the war is over, I'm sure.
Okay.
I
mean,
mean,
if,
there's any
if you're
tricky
looking for
walkers,
if you're looking for meme champs to bring to war, just bring Overseer.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
dude. I mean, don't even get me started on the second best science champion this year.
I'm sure everyone is familiar, but MSD's been putting out some pretty solid Overseer gameplay videos lately, and I actually do want to talk to him about ask him some not pointed, some nice questions about it, but we can get to that. Snoops.
MSD could make good Superior Iron Man content though.
It's literally like it's like when people are saying like, hey, I just saw that Suida did this with Rogue and War, and it's like, that's right, Suida did that with Rogue and War. There was a reason I emphasized the who did it, not the champion themselves. Let's see here. Thanks, brother, for information. You guys lately, this has been released. That's awesome, Anderson. That's awesome. Oh, I do hope you're talking to me and all the people in chat and stuff. But yeah, that's why we do it. It's awesome. The secret use is the synergies. All right. I don't understand what he's referencing. I'm probably just missing something. I did that to
MCoC.
yeah, that's right. I did that to KT1 the other day. I made a joke off something he had said, but by the time he read it, it was like 2 minutes later, and I just sounded like an idiot by the time he read it. Start there must be the devs have an idea what they were going for. Synergy with Crossbones is nice, and Max Vanguard might be OP. That's what I feel like there's. I'll also tell you part of why I'm still holding out some hope with Mangog. It's for two reasons. One is I've pulled him 3 times from this current featured crystal, so I'm motivated to hope that there's a use, and also because Kabam Broccoli, I believe, designed him, and we went over it this morning. My kind of belief on champions and why some just aren't good. But I feel like even his misses, quote unquote, what we call misses as the community, still have some use. Like, I think Ma's actually a decent champion.
Yes, so do I.
So I think there's probably something with Mangog we just haven't really found yet.
the thing is, though, Mangog, they did do a deep dive on him, at least, right? And that's where Dorky Diggity Dave actually consults with the designers as to what rotation was intended for the champion by the design.
I should go back and watch that and see if they kind of hit a clue or if there's some like Easter eggs or what have you in there.
Those aren't always a great place to start, though, because everybody thought Apocalypse, or not everybody, a lot of people thought Apocalypse was whack when his deep dive went out.
That is true.
100%.
Just didn't pay attention to the red numbers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, literally all of his utility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is why I corrected it and said a lot of people and not everybody, because I just read his spotlight and knew that he was going to be awesome.
You did? Oh, that's you. Yeah, that's right. Work, you and me both were like, Apocalypse is going to be the best champion in the game, right?
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
He's great.
We just didn't tell anyone. There's Thanos. Doesn't Thanos have a new yeah. Okay. Moving along. Mr. Negative is not as bad as people say. You know what? He's actually pretty good.
Who said Mr. Negative's bad?
Yeah.
So that also kind of started making its way around the community. I think you just compared to Shang-Chi. I think Shang-Chi's just so immediately visibly incredible. So I think Mr. Negative kind of got pushed back a little bit. Also, especially now being in the CCP, I see it in that you're still trying to play the game. You're trying to progress your own account. You're trying to stream and put out videos. And so there's only so much time you have to really test a champion. And so I could see why a champion like him, where maybe his playstyle is a little bit different, or it's not immediately like, I don't want to say obvious, because I'm actually trying to credit them a little bit. But I could see why it takes a while to warm up to champions. And I do think the videos that initially came out on him were not very warm. They were not very enthusiastic.
I agree. I think that factor of coming out in the same month as Shang-Chi is big. Like, everyone remembers Red Goblin coming out, or actually no one remembers Red Goblin coming out in the same month as CGR, because all the videos...
I was just about to call it Red Goblin Syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because Red Goblin is good. Like, he has his place in the game, and when he works very well.
Yep. That's a great call by both of you. Do you know that's how I got to know Campo? MSD shouted out a Campo video, and I really liked it. And then Campo and I I don't know if we like got in contact right then and there, but sometime over it, I was like, I like this Campo dude. And then with the Discord server and all that. Highlight, dude. Thank you so much, man. You are. I'm running out of words, but thank you. I really appreciate this. Thank you for stopping by and all of the support. And I hope things are going really well. Next stream should be tomorrow. I'm going to stream for pretty much as long as I can go right now, and have a little dinner with the family, and then try to get some more in tonight. So the next stream should be tomorrow morning sometime, buddy. Hopefully see you there. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great evening.
Sir Snoops a lot said Munash took his Mr. Negative to R3 for offense. That alone says a lot to me about how good he must be. And I agree, Munash is very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like there's a series of YouTubers that I think you need to do that with. I always hate doing this because I always forget someone, but MSD, Munash, I think Karate Mike is approaching that territory. Obviously Suida. Yeah, and I'm sure there's more. I'm just forgetting people.
Buddy.
What's that?
Buddy
Lee. Yeah, I think I'm starting to wonder about that with iHulk. I'm starting to kind of wonder. And in fact, but if anyone's interested in Mr. Negative, if anyone could link Fell's video. Yeah. It is excellent. It's an investment. It's one of those hour long, but it's an investment. I am working my way through it, and part of why I'm not done with it is that I am going back and specifically listening to parts to make sure I understand them. Because he does a lot of like how to play, like smart how to play.
He's awesome. I really, really, really like him. I'm quite pleased with the fact that I decided to rank up and invest in him.
Are you using his SP1?
Basically never.
So that's something that kind of Fell brought up. Fluffy Pig Monster had brought that up. Who's actually in the chat I'm seeing. That I'm beginning to wonder about. I'm beginning to wonder if that's like a way to like kind of ramp up some damage and take advantage of some utility in conjunction with like the SIG. I'm not fully experienced with it. That's why I'm not being very specific. But I'm beginning to wonder another thing there. Yeah, go for it, MSC.
Yeah, I think the problem with the special one is it kind of destroys the entire rotation with building up your light and dark energy and getting to the special 2. Because you're like, the use of that bar of power is crucial because you need to manage your power in a very specific way so you have enough to throw a special 2 while you're converting your light into dark, and then back to light and then back to dark again so you can get like the 16 or 17, the massive buildup. It provides a level of sustainability, but you can play him without parrying. So I just don't really, it's just kind of seems like a wasted special because it doesn't really do anything that helps him get to that same level of damage that you could reach without using it in the first place.
I will say, though, I don't remember if it's Fell who talked about it or another YouTuber, but I think it was in like the Summer of Pain fight where True Focus was added. And someone was talking about how the special one, even though it won't come up when you're able to evade, in matchups where your evade just can't work, either the opponent has some kind of True Strike or True Focus, the special one converting the different energy is actually really good to have.
I could see where that, without being able to evade, like taking away that no parry style, I could see where it would be effective there. Just as a general sense for, his rotation, you're most likely not going to be using him in a situation where you can't evade, where you can't do that counterattack. So for most situations, I don't really see it that, it's not really impactful.
I know MP has used it in war a few times. I remember seeing him. It was just matchup dependent, though. I forget the reasoning behind it.
MP Blaze?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It can give you perfect parries if you have enough of the... I forget if it's a light energy or dark energy. But I know it can give you perfect parries. But again, all your damage, pretty much, unless you burst your way to the special 2, all your damage is gone now that you can perfect block, which situationally is good, but generally not as useful.
Interesting.
I completely forget the reasoning behind it.
I don't have enough experience to really make a smart argument on it. It's just something I've been wondering, but you guys are making a lot of sense. I use what I need to use. I use it to manage his light and dark charges. Depends on the opponent. Floppy Pig Monster knows his Mr. Negative. He has since like before he came out. I don't parry straight to the SP2. If you're duped at higher sig, the SP1 matters. See, that's what Fluffy Pig Monster's been telling me, and I kind of see it a little bit. But I think it's an interesting champion. I wish they made more specific anti-Quake, anti-Ghost nodes opposed to just... Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think he was being serious, but Karate Mike ran that poll on YouTube on would you rather just see the node say you're not allowed to use Quake and Ghost? And I voted yes, I would prefer that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I think DLL called it knock-ons or something, but like the amount of times where that hinders other champions that you'd want to be using. Like, I know in at least a few of the Summer of Pain fights where I wanted to use Elsa Bloodstone, I just wasn't able to use that assisted evade. And it was just annoying. Manageable, but annoying.
Yeah. BMCG. Yep, that's work. Yep, that's work. Looks like everyone already answered. The SP with dark energy hits really hard. People are really interesting. Really, so that's what I'm saying. There's a lot there with this guy. I'm curious. I think this is a good time to ask MSD if you have a few more minutes about your Overseer. Let's call it a crush. Are you comfortable with that?
Oh yeah.
So I've pulled him. That's why I've become interested in him, and obviously your videos are not helping me stay away from ranking him. But is there a way for him to get above 70% ability accuracy reduction?
With or without the help of masteries?
Without
Because
it.
with masteries, yes. Without, also yes.
There is, right?
Yes.
Are you, if I'm asking a question that you're not prepared to answer because you want to do it in a video or something, I 100% respect that.
I'll answer and I'll make a video. I'll do a double whammy on you.
Okay, because I
He's got
started
that
reading
Disorian or something, doesn't he?
I started reading
He
through his
does.
abilities, and I'm like, wait a minute. If I'm reading this correctly, and I don't remember what they were or what order I needed to do stuff, I was like, I think you can get above 70% here, right?
Yes, you can. And that also scales. Like, so it's really weird because a lot of it has to come down to timing of when you use the special 2 to place the disorient.
Yeah.
Because if you're going for a strict damage rotation, the special 2 disorient, it's pretty much irrelevant. It's going to reduce ability accuracy by, I believe it's 40% at its base. Yeah, at 40% at its base. So during special attacks, if you're going for a strict damage rotation, they will have below 100% ability accuracy during specials. But if you're going for a rotation where you need to get above that threshold, let's say you don't have all of your special concussions built up and you need to get more reduction faster, if you use a special 2 before you trigger your cosmic mode, so the cosmic mode triggers after a special attack is completely finished. The disorient triggers on the final hit of his special, but he's recovering as that triggers. So the disorient is affected by the gamma radiation's debuff potency increase before you turn on cosmic mode, which then shuts off the potency increase. It scales for each gamma, and that caps at 6. So let's say you're at 5 gamma, you're going to be getting near maximum potency increase for his personal debuffs. So that disorient is going to go from 40% to, I'm not sure the exact math, but it's going to go up a significant amount from its base 40%, and then you'll go into cosmic mode, and then you'll get the furies, and then you'll get the damage. So there are multiple ways to reduce ability accuracy, just generally with the disorient, and then to reduce it beyond 100% with the special concussions.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and that kind of goes with what I was thinking. I had not fleshed it out at all, and I was thinking that it had to do with the timing of something, and then you said a phrase in there that's, I think, almost directly from his abilities that gave me the first indication that there may be more there than we realized. I know this, when I use him in Arena, all of a sudden he starts doing a tremendous amount of damage. It's Arena, I get it. but I don't know what I'm doing, and he just starts doing tremendous damage.
So one thing about Overseer that I talked to Karate Mike a lot about is the astronomical difference from a 6-star to a 5-star. 6-star rank 3 high sig is like a completely different character. He does so much more damage than a 5-star rank 5. It's almost odd.
Why is that?
I'm not totally sure. I think it's just because his base stats are a little higher. His sig ability, like the retaliation damage, gets increased even further because of him being rank 3. The Fury is stronger because he's rank 3. So I think with all of that coupled together, his damage just it just takes a significant bump up. It's much more significant than, like, I don't know, let's say 565 Kingpin versus a 6'3 Kingpin. It's a lot more noticeable than that sort of comparison. It's almost shocking because a 6-star rank 3 Overseer can finish a 500,000 health pool opponent in one cycle of Cosmic Mode, where a 5-star needs 1.5 to 2.
Yeah, I think
That's a pretty big difference.
Sig.
What are you saying, Word?
I think it's got a lot to do with the Sig, because I also have him as an Awakened 6-star, and his damage is just at Sig 20.
Really?
Yeah. High Sig. And that's, like, there are many reasons people don't like him, mostly because he didn't live up to the hype of a playable Maestro. I'm going to have to deal with that for as long as I make content on him.
Yeah.
But he is like a Sig 200 or a super high Sig reliant character to truly have that effective level of damage output. And I understand why that is just not a very pleasing thing nowadays. People like to pull champs either unawakened and completely useful like Shang-Chi, or they only need maybe one level in their signature ability. They just need, Sig 1 and done, like a Hercules, something like that, where they have the benefit early on. And I understand why people don't really care for Overseer. My goal, like, I had a specific goal with Red Goblin to prove that he was actually good. My goal with Overseer is just to show that he's not trash.
Got it.
I'm not trying to advocate for him being this completely underrated, underappreciated superstar, because he's not. He's good. By 2021 standards, he's not like the peak level of a science champion that we should be expecting. But if you invest in him, he has some solid payout. And that's what I'm trying to portray. And if I do end up getting him as a 6-star, I will take him to rank 3, and I will put in 6 stones just because I personally enjoy using him. And I would love to see the difference between the 565 and the 6'3 with my own personal testing, just to see how big the gap is between the different star levels. So I know he's not the best. I know people are always going to give him flack for just being an underwhelming Maestro, and I get it. But if he wasn't Maestro, if he was just a random green-skinned muscle character, I feel like he would have been a little more appreciated. But since he is technically Maestro, he was just completely thrown down into the dirt because everyone had such high expectations that truly would have never been reached, because they're not going to make Maestro, this beyond powerful character, since the real Maestro already exists in the game and we know how strong he is. So it's just, it's a weird situation because there's so many things about him that make him enticing, but him being Maestro and him not living up to the expectations of everybody, it just brings him a level down for most people, because since their super high expectation wasn't reached, he just completely becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, and kind of like, I wanted America Chavez to be amazing. Instead, they gave me Diablo. And
Right.
Instead of overpowered Maestro, we got Hercules.
Exactly.
No, that's true. And I agree with that. And the expectations probably do have a lot to do. And it was good to hear, because I was like, wait, are we sleeping on a gem? Or you're saying no, like, there's a quality champion here doesn't deserve the grief he's getting, and that's because we as a player base expected more because it was playable Maestro. I mean, he does look cool. In my opinion, it's really cool. Dalton, you're about to open a 6-star. Dude, good luck. Let us know what you get. Hopefully it's something awesome. BMCG, being serious though, Quake is a way bigger issue than Ghost. Could not agree more. I think Quake is the biggest issue. They're starting to make content for certain style champs. That's a start because before they make nodes with no thought into what counter, now the counter reflects the champ's abilities. Yep, I agree. Tiger Love, which is always justified. Expectations are so damaging. Yep. Would people be pissed? Would you guys be legitimately angry? And I mean you personally, not what you think the community would do if they nerfed Quake.
I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be ecstatic, but I definitely would want it to happen.
Yeah. What were you saying, MST?
I'd be fine with it. I feel like there's more pros to doing it than there are cons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just you design the game in a way where not having her exist is fine, and I feel like that's pretty fair. You just have to avoid situations where like immunities don't completely shut out every single option of the game.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it, because champions can get around thorns and degen and stuff like that. So if they just cut back on like champion immunity restrictions so you don't have to use Quake, I feel like the game would be better without her existing.
Yeah, and I'm worried about decisions that are made because they're scared to just do that. I'm worried about the implications of it. Although they have navigated it pretty well so far, but I think the community's starting to get tired of it. It's interesting to me that these are even questions that are being asked. All right, and then it looks like we got a rank up question here, right? I should pay attention to the game.
APOC or Prof X to rank 3. Both unduped, can't decide, love them both. I feel like we get this question. This isn't the first time I've heard this question asked of APOC versus Prof X to rank 3.
Pretty common.
Yeah. And I feel like I'd still advise APOC.
Yeah, I'd say APOC as well.
I had that same exact situation, and then it led me down a long line of ranking champions to go with APOC, and I just recently took Professor X to rank 3, despite getting APOC and Professor X at almost the exact same time, like in the same crystal. And I believe that Professor X will probably be my first mutant rank 4, but I think APOC's the way to go as well.
Yup.
Yeah. I also am kind of expecting the jump to rank 4 to not be huge. I'm wondering if it'll even be as big as the one from 2 to 3, which was not the same to the best of my knowledge, and didn't feel the same as the rank difference between a rank 4 5-star and a rank 5 5-star.
Oh no, it was significantly less.
It was, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of part of why, as I think it through, I think APOC first makes sense there too. Get him to rank 3, get him solidified. He does so much, and then go from there.
I mean, Xavier has a built-in way to increase his damage.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true.
APOC is hard capped at 4 prowess.
Yeah.
And Strife.
Yeah, but I mean, who wants to bring Strife?
Only the really smart players.
Wow.
Where's
Slayman when you need him?
Where is Slayman? How do you guys know Slayman? Is it just from the Discord, or you guys know him from elsewhere?
No, it's just
I found
Discord
him from Dune Abyss.
Let's go work first.
Yeah, it's just Discord for myself.
And then was that Spin or MSD?
Discord for me.
I found him doing his like second Abyss path on YouTube. I got someone linked me his channel, and I just went there, and that's ever since.
Right on. Seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah.
Very chill, very funny, very like comedic timing on point.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I have to check that out.
So, anybody who can take my jabs in stride. Good people.
This is true. That's
And then
why.
he delivers his own.
That's actually why I assumed you all had known each other for a while. I didn't realize it was recent. So some people were actually happy if Quake got nerfed. But Groot deserves more. He's Groot. Groot deserves a buff. I agree with that.
I feel like Groot's just a meme at this point. Like, Kabam is refusing to buff Groot.
They'll get around to him. Like I said,
they'll get around to it. I don't think it's a priority. Watch, it'll be next month. But Natalie, that would spark outrage. Yeah, it probably would. I don't know though, because there's so many players who are saying like, I'd rather you please just nerf her. You know, I wouldn't be angry, but I don't begrudge probably anyone that would. I pressed start fight too early. I wanted to see how this would go, because I know that Bishop has become a scary defender, but I don't think this is necessarily a good test of that.
I will say I took Bishop in war with the Guardian on, I want to say, Ebb and Flow Intercept, and it wasn't that bad of a fight. It was still rough. Well,
Yeah.
Not that bad, though.
You know, I'm starting to feel pretty good about this grind. I know based on the current score you're seeing, but you're probably wondering why. But I realized if I didn't lose my streak from 6 stars alone, I probably got about 12 million points. I'll full cycle them before I go to bed tonight. Yeah.
oh, you definitely have the roster for it. It's just a question of staying on top of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, your roster, if you don't miss cooldowns, is at least 120 million without units.
Yeah.
Is it realistic to think you're going to hit like every round of 6 stars, every round of 5 stars?
Probably not.
Probably not. But I mean, you could still probably hit that 90 to 100 range without having a refresh. Possibly.
I'll be right back. I'm going to use that as a stretch break. It'll be 30 seconds.
All right.
Yeah, I respect anyone who's using Tigra on the boss island of Alliance War, right? Like, that takes a lot of skill. They've practiced. She's not game-breaking or anything. I don't want that to get ruined just because Quake exists.
What I think about a little bit, or what I've started to think about a little bit more, is they've openly mentioned, like, without this wasn't like alluded to, this wasn't referenced. They specifically mentioned for Summer of Pain that you won't be able to Quake or Ghost your way through these objectives. So they're very aware.
Yeah.
Clearly. I mean, if they weren't aware, there'd be bigger problems. But they're very aware that most people are going to try and Quake and Ghost their way through things because it's easy.
Yep.
So since they specifically made that comment, I don't think it would necessarily be out of line to completely remove them from the equation. If they're calling them out to say you're not just being able to play the easy game and use them, I don't see why just removing them from the equation to promote a more fair environment is a bad call. Like, story content, no one cares. Story content has gotten, like, the difficulty level of story content has gotten a lot lower. So I don't think that's necessarily as important as other content where it's not just your roster and your revives that are relying on you, it's other people that are relying on you. And if you just get outmatched because of an unfair advantage, aka Quaker Ghost, that's not your fault. It's someone else's fault. It's not they did something bad, it's just they used a character that was always available to them that just made it easy.
And this is my own speculation here, but I feel like Gauntlet might have added to it. I don't think Kabam wanted Quaker Ghost to be used in Gauntlet, just because of like the way they hyped up Gauntlet is like for the top summoners who've already gone through Abyss. And then with Quake, it suddenly became a lot more accessible to players who are definitely far from there.
Right.
I'm curious if that affected their decision in implementing these kinds of changes to actually just hard counter Quake and Ghost, but
I mean, if they intended on Quake and Ghost not being used in Gauntlet, they did an absolute terrible job at designing that thing. Because, like, 80% of that screams, hey, just use Quake or Ghost.
fair enough.
Yeah. So
Like,
hold on though. I want to
I know
get
the Thanos could be ghosted. I'm pretty sure like 15 fights could be easily quaked.
Yeah, like, they did a horrible job at that if that was their intention.
yeah, let's a cookie for the effort, right? But and let's get back to this. But Dalton came back, pulled 6-star Strife. Have the resources to think this is awesome. Do I think
Worth
it's
your
worth
favorite.
it? Do we think it's worth it for Abyss exploration? So Abyss is the only content I have left. So here's my thinking on this: is Strife Unawakened. I think the ramp. It can be done, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult. I think MSD, you did Strife and Abyss, didn't you?
Yeah, it's the ramp up is a lot more. Well, see, the thing is, if you're ramping them up in one fight, the
Yeah.
sig doesn't matter. But if
Yeah.
you're gonna ramp them up over multiple fights, then it matters. So
Yeah.
in Abyss, sig doesn't really matter.
That's what I was thinking. My instinct was to go the way, and then I was like, no, that's wrong. It's counterintuitive. I like Strife. I like him as a champion. And how those Abyss runs ended up being pretty good, right?
Yes, they did.
Legacy did a full run, if I remember correctly.
Lags did a run. Cam did a run. I've known a few people that did initial completion with Strife, and they said it went really well. So he's like that's where he's really made to shine is Abyss.
I personally think if you're comfortable with Strife, if you like using Strife, maybe check out those runs to make sure you have the other champions that they use for the fights, because I don't think he can take every single fight. But I think he's...
No.
I like him. I like him a lot. I think that's... And Abyss is still a very, very important piece of content. Spin and work. I want to give you guys a moment on that, though, because I know... And all jokes aside, so this is being serious. I know you're not as big a fan of Strife as I am. And so you might be seeing a negative consequence to this.
I'm actually pretty okay with Strife. I think he doesn't fall into the same issue as Aegon in the sense of his ramp up isn't as tedious with what's it called, without like Abyss level content. Like you can only ramp him up like to 20 persistent charges and he will still hit hard enough that to justify using him in content. And he still carries around like the utility of like avoiding passive damage on his mediums. So I'm pretty comfortable with like, yeah, go for it. If you like him. I feel like that's a pretty key part.
I mean, if you like, basically any champ, if you like him and you want to play him, use him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares if somebody else thinks they're good? If you're proficient with a champ, you can get through content with them, and you like using them. Why do you care what some random person on the internet thinks?
Mm-hmm.
Break them up and use them.
Well, let's not go too far with that whole not asking random people on the internet thing, right? Because that's a good idea in general, right? I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, you can ask.
I'm just kidding about how I'm a random person on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, we all are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still ask people's opinions whenever I'm about to do stuff, but at the end of the day, if I don't agree with those opinions and I like a champ enough, I'm just gonna be like, well, all right, well, cool, I listened.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I want anyway.
Well, go.
I also, I don't know why it was just seconds ago that I realized there actually is a person in the chat named Coach T. Coach T, thank you so much for showing up. I've been reading Fluffy Pig Monster's comments, wondering who he's been talking to. What have they been talking about? They've been talking about something.
Oh, I actually want to address one thing here, which is that
Yeah.
I think Mr. WTF commented on how like a lot of you guys cleared a whole lot of content with Quake and Ghost, and like nerfing it for everyone else who's now progressing through the game is pretty messed up.
That's
And
true.
to that, I honestly, like, yes, I will say first and foremost, I used Quake in a lot of places. Like, that is how I was assigned so many Quake fights in War. And because I was in an alliance where we were pretty low down, and I would just Quake to make sure I could get through like 10 fights in an entire war. But ultimately, it actually serves a few negative consequences, in my opinion, which is that one, it was making me a worse player because as like the more I relied on Quake, the worse I got at the game. And the more I started to shift to other options, the more interactions I learned and the better I became at the game. And in another sense, it was also a disservice to alliance mates who were not being able to get practice on those fights with those champions. And I know Alliance War low down is a very different story where you're allowed to take those kinds of risks of not quaking and everyone wants to play it safe in higher tier war. But I do think that like the idea of how like Quake is making lives difficult is definitely a factor to consider.
So maybe the answer there then isn't to nerf her, because that's a great point about fairness, right? Is maybe not nerf her, but maybe just call it what it is and just have nodes that say like you can't use Quake, on future content.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go down the rabbit hole with fairness, I mean, okay, cool, unnerf Act 6 then, because I also had to do Act 6 in its original iteration.
Yeah, and then we get back to you're just not going to please the community. You're just not.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
Yeah.
Which I also did without Quake.
Yeah, and Kabam's good at that. I think they've shown over time that when something needs to be done, they will do it, even though the community might get upset. And they're also been, I feel like, relatively good at listening to us when we are upset. And they're like, okay, we went a little too far.
Oh, Vega, you got a question here. Does Strife need APOC and Abyss? And I guess MSD too.
For the
Vega,
horse,
you can go first if you want.
I don't have experience there. I would say no, right? Because it's just the horseman going unblockable. But I'm very open to the idea that I'm missing something.
From my experience, it's not 100% necessary if you needed to run Strife with a team of varying characters to counter specific things.
Yeah.
But if you were doing, let's say, the easy path, I would recommend it, just because first you can make Strife a horseman so he can go unblockable. And even if you needed to run him on a team where you needed specific counters, like let's say you needed 3 characters to counter other specific stuff, and Strife was your main damage dealer, you could technically ramp APOC up on a mutant somewhere and just kill him off, make Strife a horseman, and just don't worry about APOC anymore. That's something else that could be done, but I do recommend him for the first path if you have him available. He's not necessary, but he is very nice to have, so you kind of get adjusted to using Strife in Abyss. You have that unblockable, that safety net of being a horseman, going unstoppable. It's nice to have for path 1, for your initial taste of Strife in Abyss, but it's not necessary at all, and he can be used to a highly effective manner without Apocalypse.
I'm wondering, are there fights where you would actually want to have Apocalypse to use?
I think collectors, it's pretty useful to have Apocalypse just because you can go unblockable, so you don't have to worry about parries not landing and whatnot. Other than that, I can't really think of a specific fight where Apocalypse makes or breaks Strife's playstyle.
I would really recommend watching those streams though, because that's someone who's actually done it and you can gauge, you know, how well you'll be able to replicate it. Obviously, Legacy is an incredible player, but just replicate the ideas in it. And then if there's other fights you need, man, I feel like it cannot parry at all of a sudden. There we go. What are people planning to be their first rank 4? Right now, I'm planning on Ghost since I'm sitting on 2 tier 5 CC tech and no one T's on. I mean, obviously she's incredible, so that makes a lot of sense. I think what you're gonna see, you're gonna see a lot of YouTubers who are in competitive AQ alliances not go Ghost, and that's not a reflection on her value. That's a reflection on her prestige being really bad, and not wanting to lose standing in the AQ. Like I'm in 4 Loki, we're top 20. I think we're like 18, somewhere between 17 and 18. I think it's comfortable in the 20, but we're in 20. And I doubt there'll be many people taking Ghost. There might be a few, but they will be, I would imagine, relatively coordinated. And there are also people who are using Ghost in War. So they're providing a really large benefit to the Alliance with that Ghost. As far as me, my candidates will be Doctor Doom, Shang-Chi, Professor X, and Hercules. You know, if I could do it today, those would be my first thoughts for sure.
So what you're saying is Pete's going to be rank 4 in Ghost.
yeah. Pete, great call. Yeah, Pete, and I could see potentially Mike. I think he did a video on that, or he's talked about it a little bit. So I don't.
Mike said he's going Herc,
which makes perfect sense for him. I mean, that is like, it was like Hercules is a wonderful gift to Mike for all he's done for the game. Like, yeah, that's cool. Okay.
All right, I think I gotta call it.
All right. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
All right. See you, Spin. Thanks, buddy.
Take care, Spin.
Man, that Magneto hurt. I ran straight into that. WC is making a good point too, and this is where again, like it's it's good to get perspective from people, like you did Realm of Legends with pre 12.0 Stormwind. I played WoW so long ago, and I still read SW as Stormwind. Anyone who's played WoW knows what I'm talking about. Anyone who doesn't has no clue what I'm talking about. Work, you laughed a little bit. Did you play WoW?
No, but I've had lots of friends over the years that have.
Yeah, SW is Stormwind. Should have that strip? No, of course not. And I get what you're saying. That's a good point. Strife is better with APOC. It's not nearly like Cable or something. Yeah, that's true. Every music's good with APOC. Also true. I want to R4 Herc first. Fluffy Pip, so you're a big fan of Herc. Yeah? Or Doom or Herc. I know. Doom's just going to be like the boring option. It's going to be like when everyone had Blade as their first, I believe it was rank 5. And so like everyone's profile was Blade. And there's nothing technically wrong with that at all. It just...
Make me feel really, really good about putting that generic and all those 6 stones into Doom so I can take him to rank 4.
It's a little different, but yeah, sorry, I didn't...
No, you're good.
This is why it's good to get perspective. That happened today, actually. On the stream today, I was saying, and I didn't make my point very well, but I was saying that, like, if you have Sorcerer, I almost feel like you don't need Doom. The emphasis on need. You don't need Doom and Claire. Like, she can cover things. And I wasn't trying to say she could do everything that Doom and Claire could do, and I could tell that that's how it was being interpreted. Like, that's what it sounded like I was saying. And then as we had the conversation, I was like, guys, wait, this is why it's really good for me to have these conversations, to interact with the stream, to read the chat, the comments on videos and rank up, is because they started saying, they're like, well, I use Claire for immunities. And I was like, why would you do that when you have Dragon Man? And then I realized, I'm like, not everyone's got a rank 3 Dragon Man. Not everyone has like all of these other things. And so there are things about Doom and Claire that are obviously amazing parts of their kit that I just don't use them for if I don't need to. So I think having these conversations is really important. That's a long way around to say that.
Yeah, I get myself into trouble with that stuff all the time.
Yeah. I don't think Jacob wasn't mad. My sense is, this is the first time I've ever had Jacob on call, and I feel like it'd be pretty hard to make him angry. But I could tell he was like, you're crazy, dude. Like, what are you talking about? And that's what made me realize that I wasn't making my point very well too, because I could tell he thought I was saying that Sorcerer was like a better champion, and that was not my intention.
Yeah, no, I got what you were saying, and it's when you have basically all the options,
Yeah.
it skews your perspective on things so badly.
And you have the ability to pick a finely, not finely tuned, but you know the term I'm looking for, the perfect champion for the lane or the fight. Like yeah. And so you're not. It's not that I wasn't aware that Clay had immunities. I was aware. Like they're like, well, Doom has amazing power control. I'm like, I know, but that's what Magic's for. And then I was like, wait, hold on. Like, not everyone has a rank 5, 6, 200 Magic. Like. I need to. Right. I need to have a little perspective. Go for it.
It's why I get into like trouble, like talk about champs like Colossus.
Yes,
he's good.
Yes, he is very good.
And he can cover a lot of ground. But if you have like all the mutants, you're pretty much never going to use Colossus.
I actually agree with that, and I know MSG is a big fan. What do you think on that, MSG?
It's definitely not wrong.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's part of why I like you too. Is there's a lot of like, you're not wrongs. Like we can disagree without having to try to prove that you're wrong. Like we can see the other.
He's an awesome champ, and he can cover a ton of ground.
There's a reason why I don't have him at rank 3, despite having him at Sig like 180. I think I have as a natural Sig. It's ridiculous.
I don't need him, and he's too frustrating when he doesn't crit. So I just don't even want to mess with him.
That I can agree with you on.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Bishop, and I just made that video. Is I thought Bishop was so much fun. He impressed me. He was better than I thought he was. But I spent so much time making that video of him not critting that I was like, okay, I really need to say this a lot in this video, or as much as possible to make this clear. There's a lot of not critting. There's a lot of it. Hold on, we got a question here. I want to make sure we get to it. Fluffy Pig Monster prefers Herc over Shang-Chi. That, although I understand it, and I'm starting to kind of lean that way myself, I'm still disappointed. But I understand it. My Tech R3 will be Vulture. I absolutely love him. People love Vulture. He's definitely a now solid, usable champion. So I could see that.
I've seen a lot more Vulture love lately. It's impressive, to say the least.
I think it shows that they're doing a great job with these buffs, right? Because I'm not ranking Vulture unless something I haven't seen happens. But I totally get it. I totally get why people are ranking him. You know,
he's a solid Bishop counter now. That's about the only thing I could think I'd ever want to use it for.
Yeah, but I get it. You know, I get it.
But I mean, he's good. Like I said, I've seen Mike use him like well, and it's like, oh, that's cool.
That's what I thought of too. Was Mike's video on him?
Yeah, yep. But I don't have any desire to do that.
That's yeah. I love Mike, and you know that.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. I know you awesome. Do too. I know you do too. That's why it felt safe. It was a safe place. What's MSD? MSD? What's your take on ranking Venom to rank 3?
Yes, without any hesitation.
Yeah.
I like, if that was me, I wouldn't even think about it. I think Venom is arguably the most useful cosmic rank 3 other than Corvus for AQ. Just because, like, Venom's never not going to be useful. He's always going to have some use in the game. I think he's incredible, and I want to rank 3 mine, so I wouldn't even think twice about it.
And I love my rank 3.
Yeah, and just to add my third cent here, because I'm glad Work chipped in too. I know there's people who think that Venom Pool is going to make Venom obsolete. I don't think that's going to happen.
No way. No way, dude.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Venom Pool's ability, the only thing that Venom Pool will have over Venom is a short amount of time where he can deal potentially more damage. That might not even be true based on what genetic buffs you get for Venom.
Yeah, and I had this conversation with someone, a very smart player recently, and they're like, no, you just use the SIG and you re-roll. And I was like, actually, I really paid attention to the SIG. And again, you know, guys know me, I'm open to the idea if I'm wrong. But I don't think the SIG even gives you the percentile like increase you're going to get on the buff you're going to get. So you're still going to have to deal with that. And I think that's a thing. I think the only way Venom, and I still don't think he makes I don't think Venom Pool could make Venom obsolete. I think they'd just be different champions. It'd be like the two Magnetos at worst. And is if Venom Pool starts with his baseline damage being excellent. But I can't imagine them doing that.
I don't think so. He's got so much ramp up potential.
Yeah, like if Venom Pool's baseline damage is excellent, I'm going to have a huge tantrum about America Chavez. Let's put it that way. Because she's supposed to do all this damage with all those buffs. All right.
I think Venom Pool's only saving grace for being better than Venom is in a fight where large amounts of ramp up are possible. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And you don't need the buff to occur in a certain sequence. Yeah, I agree.
Because Venom's utility is constant. It's forever. It's always there. It's never going away. Venom Pool's utility, it cycles. So that right there brings Venom just above, like one step above Venom Pool, because he doesn't have to rely on a factory reset of his buffs to get his utility back, because it's always there.
If I had to bet on it, I would say Venom Pool's going to be good to very good. I'm still not certain he's going to be good though. I think there's a lot that the numbers are going to dictate. I think, like I said, if I had to bet, I think he'll be good. I think he'll at least be good. I'm not certain on it though yet. Just my 2 cents.
On like the comparative spectrum of symbiote characters, there's Venom, who's easily the best. Then you have Red Goblin and Carnage, who are like solid. Symbiote Supreme as well, solid.
Yeah.
And then there's, Symbiote Spider-Man, Venom the Duck, who are like, okay, but they're not anyone's first choice for really anything. So if Venom Pool ends up above Symbiote Spider-Man or Venom the Duck, I'll be satisfied.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that Ronan's poison immune.
Yeah, and the fact that they took the Om-Nom away from all buffs but armor up from Venom Pool, I wasn't a big fan of.
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, that's something that's been getting overlooked a lot too.
He used to have a constant... I'll never forget this video. I remember when Dave made a video on why the pros sleep on Venom Pool. Is because he healed from recoil. He always, if he ever ate a buff, he would heal from recoil. So he'd essentially never take any recoil damage, and now he can't do that anymore unless it's armor.
Yep.
Looks like we were getting the explanation for why Vulture. And just to be clear, I think everyone said they see uses. It's just not what they're doing with their account. And I think we're going to see that more and more and more. I think that's been the smart way to approach the game for a while now. But as the game just continues to grow, and there is some overlap in champions too. Like let's be honest about that. I think you're going to continue to see people ranking up champions that make sense for their account that aren't necessarily in order to rankings. Let's say, right?
Like, I would put I would put Vulture in the same conversation where I would put OG Ghost Rider. Both good champions, both not absolutely necessary for someone's roster, but if someone wanted to rank them up and have fun, they could absolutely do that. And would they be effective for some situations? They would.
Yeah, and Vulture's immunities based off of synergies is kind of cool too, because you can kind of build them to what you need for a specific path and stuff.
I think that's honestly one of the most forgotten things about him. I think that's so unique that he actually gains something significant from having a synergy. It's like he doesn't gain a bonus, he gains an actual ability that is in his kit for the entirety of a quest.
Yeah, I really liked that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Looks like I did it to myself. I went too far down the.
Oh no, I wasn't even paying attention to your teams, Vega. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's not your fault. That's all right. I probably should take a break anyway. So what's the answer then? What do you do with it? Should I start working on my 4 stars?
I mean, you can get your streak back with 4 stars.
But then, I'm only going to have the 5 stars that are on cooldown or lead me to stuff like this.
That's your top 3 5-stars right now?
No, should I have just stuck with the top? Because I was trying to mix what I thought were rank 3s, but I'm wondering if I even have these, if Jabari and Spam are even ranked up at all, just from looking at them.
Those seem like rank 1s.
Because what I do when I get to my... I don't have anybody at rank 1, though, personally. I've got all my 5 stars at least rank 2.
Okay.
But when I get down to my rank 3s, I take my 2 highest rank 3s and my lowest rank 2 together. And then I just work my way to the middle until all the rank 2s are gone.
Okay. This is
if you've got 2 rank 1s especially, that's just asking for trouble.
All right. Maybe I'll get lucky on the matchups here.
Yeah, that's 2 rank 1s. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. You're gonna want to sandbag Iron Man Infinity War. Probably go Hulk for Wasp just because you have more health, and go either Jabari or Spam for Ghost.
Yeah. I don't think this is gonna go well. I don't think this is gonna go well at all.
Probably not.
It's all right. It's probably time for me to take a little break anyway.
Hey, miracles could happen, man.
That's true.
And Ghost isn't one of the worst death matches to get, at least. She's not, at least not overly difficult or tanky. It's when you get those Dooms and... Doom and Warlock is always super fun.
Warlock, I would have just put the phone down and walked away.
You get like Doom and Warlock, or like Doom, Sinister, and Apocalypse together, so Apocalypse is ramped up. It's like, oh, thanks, guys.
It's like, oh yes, great. I have to pay attention in Arena. This is phenomenal.
Yeah, I do like Fluffy Pig Monster giving me the old Jedi pep talk. I appreciate that a lot.
This one's gonna be interesting. I have full faith, Vega. I totally believe in you.
Thank you. Oh no.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got one. we got one fight left.
You meant for the next fight, right? Because we had decided that to sandbag the Iron Man Infinity War fight.
Yeah, exactly. We sandbag Iron Man.
I'm really
This Wasp is squishy.
Yeah, I'm remembering that I forgot how to play Jabari.
Oof.
I think it was the SP1. I wanted to land the SP1, and that would have triggered the hunt, I think, right?
You have to get to like 10 charges, right?
Something about hunt charges or huntress
Yeah,
things.
it's like parry heavy up to 10 charges, and then drop a special 2.
You hit him while stunned, and then once you reach your cap, you throw a special 2.
Yeah, you gain 1 charge while they're stunned. It's like with a 2-second cooldown.
Well, the answer definitely wasn't take a heavy to the face. I think that is clear.
I think that was.
I kind of don't want to stop, so I'm going to keep going.
What ranks do you have available?
It looks like they still have some, maybe a couple of rank 3s. This might even be a rank 4.
Yeah. So I mean, you can keep running your 5 stars, like I said, but just use the rank 1s until you start getting your streak up.
Okay.
And then you can start mix matching in the 3s and 4s.
Okay. Yeah, I at least want to get the streak going again before we sign out. I guess I can do this without streaming it too. So there's that. Oh man. I thought
I don't know if you'll be able to hit infinite streak with what you have left, but you'll at least be able to get your multiplier back up for whenever people start coming off cooldown.
and I could go to my 4 stars for that, right? Or are 4 stars not allowed?
You're not gonna get infinite streak with 4 stars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're gonna need at least like rank 4s or rank 1 6 stars.
All right.
Once you get to around like that, probably like round 10 to 12 maybe.
I may need to refresh then because I don't really want to wait until I think my 6 stars are going to come off cooldown first. What's up, Duke? Fluffy Pigment, it was Yoda-esque. It was good. It was good. You know, not all training Jedis get it right the first time or second time, as we've seen.
Really, Duke?
What
You can hit infinite streak with a rank 5 4-star? I never use 4 stars in arena, so I definitely won't say you're wrong there. And I know you've done plenty of grinds, so I don't know.
I definitely wasn't planning on using 4 stars. I'm shocked that I'm that invested in this streak. But anyways, or in this grind.
It's work, Duke.
Oh, I just realized we had a question. Vega, if you had a Nexus with Doom and Diablo, who would you pick? I have Claire and Sorcerer at rank 3. I'd still probably pick Doom just because I think he's that good. I'd be tempted to take Diablo, but you'd have to be willing to, I think, run Mystic Dispersion all the time, and probably run Recoil Tree and not. But Doom's the better champion, I believe.
Diablo needs suicides.
Dude, he doesn't. I mean, again, like this is why part of why I like this chat is we're all open to the idea that, like, you know, other perspective. I really tested that in the video. It's a long video, and he did really well without them. He really did, and he was still healing. But this is what I did say is, like, I think to get anywhere close to his ceiling, you still need Mystic Dispersion because that's going to allow to cycle those specials, which will kick in the healing and things like that. But he's better with them. I think he's better with them for sure.
I really wasn't a fan without.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to the idea. That's for sure.
I watched the vid, and like I said, and I really wasn't using his pre-fights as much like you were. When I was messing around with him, so I didn't have the buffs off his special 3.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes a large difference to be able to actually get back to an SP1 or SP2 to keep the poisons going.
Yep.
So, admittedly, I didn't really do that. But in general, just he didn't feel as tanky.
No,
because he didn't have the damage reduction. He didn't have the constant healing. He still had really good regen, but it wasn't just like nonstop like he had with a recoil tree.
Yeah. I mean, with the recoil tree, I mean, I don't know. I think I put him in that video. There was like fights where I was literally like, I'm just going to parry heavy and see what happens, and I would heal up like 30 or 40% over the fight. He's tough to kill. I'm sure I'll figure out a way to do it, but he's tough to kill.
Yeah, which is why I'll never say I think he's bad even without the masteries. I just personally wasn't a fan, so it's like I'm probably gonna pass at least for now. I don't like really his animations. Just really didn't enjoy using them much.
The reach for a champion, if I was going to criticize him, for a champion that really does want a heavy a lot, his reach is really small, I felt.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, all right. Hey, come on.
I mean, listen, man, I'm going to tell you straight. It's a terrible reaching heavy, and it pushes him back. So, it's bad.
Look at Mole Man. His heavy is
God,
awful.
His heavy, like, it's so bad, it's almost like it's inverted. Like, It's so weird how his heavy works because you feel like it's gonna push you forward, but all it does is just slightly shove you back.
It's bad. So bad.
It's inverted. He moves backwards. My first 6-star is Red Hulk. Is he good? Yes. Yes, he is. That's a great pull. That's a great pull.
Oh man, WC. I didn't realize you sounded so closely related to Dilly. Oh man.
I don't think he realizes what that means. I just realized you guys couldn't hear me, and you're probably wondering why I was doing what I was doing. I gotta plug my phone in.
Don't get me wrong, I love Dilly. Dilly's great.
What's that?
I said, don't get me wrong, I love Dilly. Dilly is great.
I actually like Dilly too. I don't think anyone dislikes him. I think it's all kind of a joke.
But I just got told that I sounded like him. That is not flattering.
Oh, you know how all us Northerners and Westerners are.
I forget exactly where Dilly's from. Is it Alabama or Arkansas?
That I
think
know.
it's an A. I think it's an A.
It's an A state.
Nah, I want to say that, but I'm a Louisiana WC. Sorry to disappoint you.
Just stay above 18. Yeah, this is where and didn't arenas get changed a while ago with the death streak or the death matches and everything, or am I just completely out of it?
They're pretty much the same as they have been. They did an adjustment a while back, and it was pretty bad for a lot of people, and I think they reverted that.
Yeah.
But since then, it's pretty much operating the same that it has for quite some time.
I'm also being not stupidly stubborn, but I would have refreshed it. Old me would have just refreshed 6 stars. Would have been like, okay, let's throw a boost on, and refresh 6 stars over and over. But I'm trying hard not to do that. Dilly. I love how people know the joke. I like the Diablo buff. I like the Diablo after the buff more than Hercules. We like. Yeah, that is absolutely true. I can see that. I just like Hercules so much. I enjoy playing him, but I guess it's not a bold statement to say that Shang-Chi, Diablo, and Hercules are my favorite champions of 2001. That's not really going out on a limb.
Yeah, I mean, I've had quite a few hot takes when it comes to liking or disliking champs for quite a while now, so I'm never really surprised when people don't necessarily agree with me.
Dude, Ducarta just got 6-star She-Hulk from a Cav. That's amazing.
Oh my god. Sorry, that was a little abrupt.
No, it's not. I think 6-star She-Hulk is worthy of that.
Congratulations.
The only reason I have not taken her to rank 3 yet is I have a completely maxed out 5-star. And I enjoy the SIG on her, so I just haven't been in a rush. But yeah, she's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, same. I want to do my 6-star before I start ranking her up.
I'm going science for the Nexus when Summer of Pain is over. Just hoping.
Yeah.
Praying.
Do you are you an iHulk fan?
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Work?
I want to like him.
Fair enough.
Do you have it?
I have a rank 2 6-star.
Okay.
I like him in theory. I am not good enough to use him to enjoy using him.
Oh, really? That scares me. Maybe I don't want iHulk then.
I'm not good enough at manipulating the AI to do what I want them to do to use him effectively.
Okay, then I probably don't want an iHulk then. Because I definitely, and this isn't like one of those like fishing for a compliment things, I definitely consider you be in a tier above me skill-wise. So if you don't feel like you can do that, I don't feel like I would too, and I'm very excited about him. I think I maybe need to, like you said, start applying the Buddy Lee rule a bit more. And for those who weren't there, it's that Buddy Lee is able to make a champion look better than they actually are.
I said, there's a lot there. It's just you have to know how to get it out of him. And a lot of that comes down to AI manipulation from what I've seen, as far as like getting them to actually be aggressive when you want them to be, to keep your rage up.
Sometimes it just doesn't work.
I lose rage all the time, like constantly. I can never get his damage built up without him just going ahead and hard blocking me and wait until everything falls off.
Steve, weren't you in a Twitter conversation about this today or yesterday?
Yeah, Seaton brought up my harsh criticisms of iHulk back when I didn't have him and he just got released, and people were saying like how terrible he was. And now I'm a changed man, and you know I see him in a different light now. There's definitely still flaws with any character that was controversial at the beginning. There's always going to be some sort of thing that's constantly nagged upon.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you dedicate the time to learning his intricacies, and he's a pretty effective, pretty powerful character, and the Hercules synergy is unbelievably powerful.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is it so much that you feel like maybe you were incorrect, or is it that maybe content has come out that is highlighting what he can do and really fits his kit?
I feel like it's kind of both. I feel like I was spot on back then about what needed to be changed, but I was wrong in the sense that he would be useless because what I said didn't exist.
I didn't.
So okay, let me explain. So what I said back then was essentially he needs to have a entire rotation to be a practical character, and my initial interpretation was because he doesn't have an entire rotation, he will be pretty much useless because you're going to be relying so much on RNG that he's essentially just going to be the perfect RNG fight, but for every single fight you ever use him with. And I was wrong there, because once they gave him that small little buff where rage was paused during the opponent's specials, that changed the game. That made him useful in situations where even if you don't have the full rotation, he could still be used. And what I mean by full rotation is, I actually talked about this with someone on Twitter earlier this afternoon. iHulk has the potential to have a complete cycle, like a complete loop that would start with you converting or you charging a heavy attack, converting your rage into double its previous amount. So let's say you go from 8 to 16, throwing a special 2, doing the iHulk combo, and then throwing 2 back-to-back special 1s. And if the stun chance was 100%, you'd be able to do that consistently, and he would have a full rotation. Why that doesn't exist, I think there's really one reason, is because if he had a 100% chance to stun on the special 1, having that full rotation with that level of damage output would be able to steamroll fights of 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 health with relative ease. As long as there was nothing reducing ability accuracy or stun chance or the ability to apply stun, he could crush pretty much anything in that entire rotation and be alive and be able to do it in the next fight and the next fight and the next fight. And because my initial interpretation was he needed that, I was putting out into the world that he's probably going to suck because he doesn't have it. And that was not true.
And I think Cam said something similar. I listened to maybe it was his podcast that he talked about. During that time, I had to do a bunch of driving. And I feel like I remember him definitely talking about the SP1 and the lack of the guaranteed stun off of it. So I think these things make sense. BMCG, you're going to go science as well? Or who are you hoping for out of the science crystal? Mr. WTF Vega did a 108 chi charge special 2. The first 2 hits killed him. Yeah. I love Shang-Chi, and I love that. So you can do fun things with him like that. I'm learning that iHulk, you can do as much with him. A lot of the times you just disregard the node His awakened ability is underrated. MSD is Strife good for Abyss Luke Cage? He's the main fight I'm afraid of. What do you think?
You could go test it right now if you want.
Yeah.
All right, let me go kill Darkhawk.
Does Vega have a She-Hulk guide? I actually do not. I do not have a She-Hulk guide. That's not a bad idea, though. MSD has one? You know MSD likes She-Hulk. I don't know if he has a guide. Do you have one, buddy?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Then yeah, there you go. Let's get that link.
Would you like me to link the guide?
Yeah, if you don't mind. That way
Or
people
just
can
one
see
moment?
it. Campo, what's up, dude? Thanks for stopping by.
I think a lot of people focus way too much on Shang-Chi's damage.
I agree.
I don't think like he's awesome because of his damage output. I think he's awesome because he's got some absolutely insane utility.
Oh yeah.
Hard agree. Like, yeah. In fact, I guess when I did my holy cow, OG Highline, thank you so much, man. Like, seriously, huge thank you. I really appreciate it a lot. Very much. Please let us know if you have any questions or anything. Yeah, we're right here. So thank you. Incredible. And there's MSC, sir. For the She-Hulk guide question, Ducarta, in case you're listening and not watching, we did link it there. Spin's not on the channel or on the chat right now, so I don't feel badly ending it. But Spin does have an excellent channel, so if anyone's interested in that, please check that out. It is a very good channel. All right, there you go. Mobius is saying hi. Okay, Mobius and Campo saw each other, so that's good. Work, are you doing a grind right now for any champion?
No.
You're done after Cable?
Yeah, I'm not gonna grind 100 million to awaken America.
That's right, you pulled her.
Yeah.
Now I know how those people who grind out champions, and when I'm like, oh, I just pulled Hercules. Now I know how they feel. It is. I have to tell you guys, and I don't think this is part of this is habit. It's just habit. The desire to just try to awaken her or get her that way is very strong, very, very strong. But we're too early in the game for that.
So that's a lot of arena. And actually, the sad thing is, I actually have the time. I'm off. I was off today, and I'm off tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday as well. So I could do it. I don't want to spend that much time doing arena again. I just did it for Cable. And that basic grind is just, God, it's torture now.
And I really don't think that she is a champion like iHulk that the CCP came out lukewarm on, and we'll realize, oh, this is crazy use. Like, in fact, the way she was worded, I was actually worried she was worse than she is. And I asked a question about the stacking of the effects of her parallel dimensions or her dimensions. And a lot of people were like, dude, they don't stack. And I was like, I don't know. The way I'm reading, I think they might. And I was really excited when I found out that they did, in fact, stack. Because she would have been horrible if they didn't.
Oh my God, yes. And I don't dislike her. I don't think there's a ton of use for her right now. I think she's a lot of fun to play. Like I was using her for the crossbones in the side quest when I was still trying to get all the milestones. And she's a blast. She's fun. Like I love champs with the charge heavy out of combo.
Were you able to cycle get the SP1s and SP2 going?
It was really tough to like keep a steady rotation with her for me because I run 5 out of 5 MD, and Crossbones will just have like 4 Furies expire on you.
Yeah, yeah.
And shoot you straight to special 3. But she was fun to use and wasn't terrible for the fight. Like, she got through it as an unawakened 6-star at rank 1 and like 50 hits or so. So I mean, wasn't even like bad.
Yeah, she's not Psycho Man.
No. I don't know that there's a place that she actually really fits in right now, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe something will pop up, but like I said, like whenever you say like, well, what if there's Mystic Ward? And it's like, well, Longshot exists.
And like Spinnaker was saying, and you know, I'm a huge Mojo fan too. Spin just knows him a lot better than I do. So does Mojo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think there's going to be more. I think there's going to be more. She seems like an unusual champion to just design for kicks and giggles.
If she didn't have a cap on like how much like she could stack, like how much benefit she could get from like her buffs and dimensions,
yeah,
she could be pretty crazy. But it's what capped at 6?
It's 9. It's actually 9.
Okay, 9.
It goes up a fair amount. I can see why, if they were designing her, there would be concern about her becoming too good in the matchups that like really accentuate her if her baseline was too high. I can see that. I would have been fine with it, but I can see it. BMCG, I'm going for Mr. Fantastic 2. That's right. You took him to rank 3, right? Start pumping science signed him for prestige. Nice. That's nice. That's awesome. Campo, I'm debating science to try to dupe Void or Ibom. We'll go from mutant to dupe AA or Professor X. OG Highline, I think OG Highline deserves to skip in line. Are Modok and Arcus solid defenses for Alliance War, even though they aren't duped?
Yeah.
More Modok, right? Isn't Arcus's dupe the
This is just its tenacity.
It's tenacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes messes with people, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it can. If Arcus is duped, you want him at low sig more than you want him at high sig because it's an unreliable tenacity at low sig, so you can't really count on it. If he's at high sig, like, you can trigger the tenacity on purpose more reliably. So if you want him for a defender,
yeah,
a low sig duped Arcus is far better than a high sig one.
Yeah. And Modok's the one that really doesn't need it, right? That's just if he wins fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then was Campo actually asking a question? Campo knows the game really well. Void dupe or Ibom or mutant? I'd go mutant on that if that's a question. As much as I love Ibom, not that I don't think has a role. I think he still has a great role. But you know, maybe my Diablo love's going a little too far. Maybe I'm starting to use him as a solution for things that he's not. But I just think Professor X and A are just so amazing.
I'm not going to talk about Summer of Pain Nexuses.
You don't want to put that out into the world?
No. I do not. 4th of July was bad enough.
I don't know if Dalton is still in here, but I don't recommend Strife for Luke Cage.
Oh, really?
No.
So, like, I really wish I had started the channel before this because it's such important content, and there's so many questions on it, and I would have paid a whole heck of a lot more attention to what I was doing as opposed to what I did, and just that was sit in front of a TV and play for hours at a time, like zoned out, and had Aegon at rank 3. But I remember actually ramping Aegon on it had to have been Luke Cage, right? That's the one where we have to intercept, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so I didn't mind if I failed. I'd get the protection to keep my combo, and I didn't mind because I was ramping him anyway. Like I just thought of that fight as like like the price I paid to have a smoother run the rest of the time.
Yeah, I hated that fight with every fiber of my being.
Yeah.
I am in the complete opposite way of you work, but to each their own.
Yeah. I feel like MST, I feel like you just do that. That's like brushing your teeth. You're like, oh, I'm going to do it.
I may or may not be still doing it daily.
I don't doubt it, buddy. I have not done it once since I finished exploration, and I have zero intention of ever, and I mean ever, doing it again.
That's funny.
You can have a little fun, not like a tiny bit.
Hell no. I had fun in some Abyss fights. Luke Cage was not one of them.
I enjoy, because of the attitude I took about it, I found myself enjoying it. Because, like I said, for me, it was like lifting weights for the sporting event. So, like, when it went well, or I felt like I was getting better at it, I enjoyed that because I expected it to be brutal anyways. But yeah, I know a lot of people really don't like that fight.
And the fact that I did like the last 4 pass over 5 days didn't make it any better.
Yeah, that probably didn't help.
Yeah,
I
so
took a week off. I took a week off of work and just like blasted through the whole last 4 pass of it, and it was just awful.
I didn't go quite to that degree work, but my situation was similar. My wife was gone for work, and so I would put the kids to bed, and I would just sit down. I would throw the TV on, and I don't even remember what it was. And I was like, I'm just going to pound out as much of this as I possibly can in like this 3-window period that I have. And so I did, but I was just like mindlessly doing it. And I had grown concerned that the Legends, because I don't know if they called it a Legends run, but it was like the first 100 and the first 300, I think were the cutoffs, or like the first 10.
I'm pretty sure it was Legends. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that. And I had become concerned that I wasn't going to make the cutoff. And I had gotten like 2 paths done. I don't remember the exact numbers anymore. And so I was just like, all right, I'm just going to absorb it and get the rest done. And then I ended up making it by like an absurd margin. Like there was no reason for me to have hurried. But I was glad I got it done, I guess. I don't know. If I could do it again, I'd pay a lot more attention. MSC, BMCG is asking, who did you use for the control objective this week for Summer of Pain?
I used Professor X with a power booster. Got relatively lucky.
Yeah.
Not a luck dependent tweak.
Oh
There's
yeah.
only a lot of RNG. I mean,
think-
that hype fight, dude, took 2 hours. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. That hype fight took 2 hours.
Still cool.
I think one of the only like objective champs that doesn't like completely rely on luck to get through on a solo is probably Taskmaster.
Yeah, a good Taskmaster player could shut it down. And I wish, because I really like Taskmaster. I wish I had him at a high rank.
Yeah, I had a rank
I would have loved to
4,
use him.
and I tried twice, and I was just like, no, I'm not good enough with Taskmaster, and he's not ranked high enough. I'm not messing with this.
The thing is, I know how to use him too.
Hold on
Like,
just a
I know
second,
his
guys.
rotation.
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I want
go
to say
ahead,
bye. Ducard has been here for over an hour and a half. Thank you very much. I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully we'll see you again, buddy. All right, go back to Taskmaster, because I am interested in this.
I learned Taskmaster really early on. Like I know his rotation. I know how he works. I know how to line up the special concussion to maximize his damage output. I've never ranked him up.
The
Yeah, I
payoff,
took him to rank 4 with a variant gem like ages ago and played around with him.
the payoff is not incredible with him.
It's not.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
He needs the payoff needs to be 100% ability accuracy reduction, and your specials deal burst of more significant damage. That's what the payoff should be, but it's not. So
I feel like the game's kicking me out more frequently, because that's the third one. No,
I
actually,
think so, yeah.
it's happening about every hour and 3 minutes. That's really wild. I kind of want to keep streaming at least for a little bit longer, see if I can keep the streak going. I'm going to do the same thing, guys. I'm just going to stretch. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Can you guys hear you guys hear the noises I'm making when I'm stretching? I realized it might not sound that great over the mic.
I didn't hear anything.
No.
Okay, good.
Now I'm curious to what noises you make while stretching.
Well, I have a lot of joints that crack. I played a lot of sports. And so there's a lot of cracking noises. And then I managed to hurt my shoulder really badly, and so like it's doing its own thing. So just kind of a lot of cracking, and I know my microphone picks up a lot of sound, so I was surprised.
I didn't hear
BMCG.
anything.
Okay, good. This was a pretty funny conversation here. Heli Gutierrez is saying, "Did he just say he hasn't brushed his teeth since Abyss?" And I like the quick, as like I brushed my teeth while doing Abyss. That made me laugh. I was also laughing.
That's a true
about
story. Only one time. Wasn't a Luke Cage, but it did happen.
Oh, okay. So it was one of the easy fights then. All right.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like...
No, that's part of the joke here, man. You can sound that way. You can sound that way.
Yes, technically, yes.
Well, Hercules made Iron Man Infinity War easy for me. So there's that.
Oh, man.
He did.
Hercules in Abyss.
Yeah, I know. BMCG, dude, if you're looking for a counter control, if that's what you're doing there, a lot of people are having success with Voodoo and just sticking with the odd combo. I don't know if that's why he was asking, though.
Still think there's a massive amount of luck tied to that. I exploded like 8 times in a row and gave up.
Oh, I agree.
Had a really good run with Voodoo, and then, like Work said, I just blew up. Eventually, I was like 300 hits in, and boop, there you go.
And I basically did the same thing as MSD and just said screw it and used Xavier, except I didn't use a power boost and just used 2 revives instead.
I guess since we're not having war for a while, I might do the same thing because I want to use Xavier. I've been staying very stubborn. I didn't want to remove recoil because I knew I was doing this regrind, and I didn't want to use the power back. But at some point, I need to get the fight down because that's the one I haven't done.
He can solo with suicides. Suida did it with suicides on. So,
with the power back or no?
Yeah,
with power back.
Oh, okay. Suida did it. It doesn't make me. I don't know. Yeah.
To be fair, the Professor X rotation for that fight isn't his normal rotation. It's how people used to play him.
Just the SP2 or
don't worry about like heavy charge into the special 3, but don't heavy charge anywhere else. Just go straight up special 2 spam. Don't worry about heavy charging.
Just to get it over with.
Special 2 straight out of channeling.
The original style.
Yeah. I decided against it, obviously. And I think it is ultimately helpful, and if people comment, I direct them to other things. But I actually did 2 videos on Professor X before that was discovered and made big in public. And it always makes me wince a little bit because those videos still get views. But I'm like, I think I still talked about a lot of good things, like his ability to counter things, like evade and miss. And I showed that he actually can do good damage, even if you're not playing him the superior way. So I have left them up. but they do make me wince a little bit when I get comments on
You
them.
don't have to maximize your prowess with him for him to be insanely effective in tons of places.
Absolutely. Like I was able to clear stuff with him. It's just I don't know. Like I know that there's a superior way, and there's no easy way on YouTube to just like write that somewhere so that everyone who views the video would see it. But I feel like no one's watching just my video on Professor X, you know? So I don't know. What do you guys think I should do here? Should I move to my highest ranked 4 stars now?
I mean, Duke's saying that you can build your streak with rank 5s. Like, if you start using...
I have more confidence in them than I do Cable, Superior, Iron Man, Invisible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because, I mean,
Yeah.
you can still probably get some pretty nasty matches in round 10.
Well,
So this is definitely outside of my realm for
Okay.
arena experience.
well, let's see what the worst that can happen is. That's not horrible.
No, that's manageable.
Yeah.
God, it's the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, it feels so good to use them. It really does. Like I was already hooked on the game. Like it's funny that Sparky's gonna fight Gwenpool because I loved Gwenpool. I loved her. But I remember when Sparky came into the game, I think I had two shots at his featured crystal, and I got him. And even a player as bad as I was at that time, I was able to tell there's something different about this guy. Like he is uniquely awesome. And he actually made Abyss fun for me. I tell the story all the time. I don't mind repeating it. I enjoyed the Cyclops fight I'm sorry, not Abyss, Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because of him. Like I felt like they made him for that fight and for Labyrinth. So he holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, he was the only one of the group that I used extensively. I went hard for Blade, trying to get him between like featured crystals and GMCs,
Yeah.
and completely missed. So I just never had him. I had a rank 4 Ghost Rider that I would use in like AQ back when I was still doing like map 5 and maybe some map 6.
Yeah.
But Starkey was the only one that I ever used for anything important.
I have to say that like Labyrinth was part of what solidified for me in that not that Sparky was a better champion, but that I just enjoyed him so much more than Blade because like fights would just take so much longer with Blade, but he was great for him, you know.
They did take long with Blade.
Yeah.
It was my Hype was my first rank 5, and I had Blade at rank 4 when I did my first Labyrinth path. So I went in with a rank 5 Hype and a rank 4 Blade. And then after that, every other path was rank 5 Hype, rank 5 Blade, with like 4-star Spidey and 3-star Ghost Rider, and then Vulture for Blade to just have the additional attack. I didn't have any of the Trinity early on. I only had Blade, which was arguably the most important, but yeah, I got super lucky, and if you go way back on my channel, you'll hear a pipsqueak version of me freaking out about getting Blade from one crystal.
I definitely I've been watching videos for a while. I exploded 8 times in a row and gave up work 2021. That does seem like that should go on the back of a t-shirt. I like it. Elk, imagine big arenas like this were for 3 hours and you face all real players. Dude, I'm sure I'm not the only person. When I first started playing the game, I actually thought I was playing real players in arena. I pretty quickly figured out that I wasn't when I was the only person who was moving the matchup around. But I actually thought I was playing real players. Just completed 6.3, 6.4, did 7 rides. Wow, that's really good. After 1.8 years of playing, now 7.1.5. My question is, would Spider-Ham work for the clapback path in the last quest? I recall 7.1.5. I don't recall.
Spider-Ham for clapback? He should work. Clapback is only for DOTs.
Yeah.
So Spider-Ham should work fine.
I mean, as long as he can counter the champs on the path, I mean, the node wouldn't have
Right.
any effect on him.
Yeah, if there's a node or a fight in particular, hit us back up with that, because we'll get to that. Vega, you said in one of your videos about the heavy charge, if you go back in time, everyone said, yeah, Fluffy Pig Monster, thank you. I mean, I appreciate the, like, people not necessarily backing me up, because I wasn't necessarily looking for that, but, like, and reinforcing my thoughts on keeping the videos up, because obviously removing your videos is not something that most YouTubers want to do. We're convinced that the algorithm would not like that. Hey, David, what's up, dude? Let's go take a look at. Thank you, man. I think you know how unique this is. I just finished a big grind in the basic arena for Stripe and tapped out of arena for. You've been going hard though, dude. You've been going really hard. So I think that makes a ton of sense. And I'm honest, is I don't see her being someone who's going to make or break anyone's account. At least not right now. I hope she eventually is. I could see it maybe, especially if they tune her up a little bit. Judah, what's up? Thanks for stopping by all these streams, man. That's the attorney in you. Okay, yeah, you're going back to the I used 4-star rig 5s. Okay, this is good to know. I have no idea what your arena strategy is, but at this rate, you should go to round 13, and max force are safe until round 13. Okay, I'm working on my strategy. I mean, you're seeing the evolution of it right now. I know I'm not supposed to just put the phone down and start talking. I know that. Sparky was my first R5. He'll always be nostalgia-wise. Yep. That is exactly, and he was awesome. I took up Blade because Prestige was a thing, and for those who remember, I'm pretty sure I'm getting my timeline right. Sometimes I mess up timelines. Legacy was starting a new alliance, and I wanted to join it. I was ready for like to jump up in seriousness of play. I was aware that there was a lot about the game I didn't know. And so I wanted to jump up and play, and so I felt like I really needed to have Blade as my first, even though I really wanted to do Sparky. And yeah, so I didn't end up joining his alliance, ironically, after all that.
Yeah, Sparky was my first as well.
He's amazing. I still wonder how good he'll be as a 6-star. Like, will all come rushing back how great he is, or has the game passed him away a little bit?
I definitely think I'd rank and use him. His damage would be pretty silly.
We're talking about the 6-star Stark Spidey?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, insta rank 3 for me. I wouldn't even hesitate.
I don't know where he'd fit as far as like content, or if like people would actually be using him in war still. But I definitely think he'd still be a usable champ.
You know those kinetic transference lane fights in Section 1 Path 787? I think they're still there. It was a problem. This is all the way back when I was in NY. So this is a long time ago. And I got assigned that. And people were having trouble with it. That's part of why I got assigned it. And I think it was a Blade there. People were placing Blade. And I just used Sparky. It was awesome. So it was fun. It was fun to use him like at that level. Because, you know, especially at that level, there was a lot of R3s going on.
Yeah, I had a... trying to remember what fight it was. Oh yeah, it was the Battle Angel mini in... I forget which chapter of 7-1. One of my buddies used Sparky, and I didn't even think about using him to avoid all the Punisher specials and build up all the mercy charges. He worked phenomenally. Instead of just cheesing it with Magneto like most people do.
Two Extreme just got the 5-star Hercules. Congratulations, man. Absolutely, congratulations. Sparky was my first clear in LOL. The slender hair in the BG stream. Oh, BG does not like Sparky. BG streams at a time of the day that I'm either historically, before I started a YouTube channel, I was typically either with my wife or finishing up my work for the day. And now I'm either with my wife, finished up work for the day, or working on a video. And so like I make his streams like once a month. So there's a lot of stuff that people just know because he's so, he's very good at what he does. That they jokes that I don't get. So I didn't realize it. So he doesn't like Spark?
Not anymore.
Really? Did something happen to trigger that, or is it just evolution of the game?
I don't exactly remember why he stopped liking him. I think it was probably something to do with, as you said, evolution of the game.
Yeah.
Because he ranked him up and he used him obviously for like war and stuff way back when.
Yeah.
I don't exactly remember why he stopped liking him though. I just know like ever since I've consistently watched Brian, I know he didn't really enjoy Stark Spidey.
Funny. Might be one of those things too. Like I don't hate Stealthy. I think he's a fine champion. I just like to kind of rag on him, and I know there's people who really like him, and so it's now become like a thing, like what?
I mean, I'm there with you.
Yeah.
I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah,
it's just fun to push those buttons sometimes.
it really is, especially when you really believe. Like I get why people like him, but you're not going to be able to convince me that he is like a top shelf champion.
Oh, absolutely not. You're going to tell me that you're going to build an evade counter that needs a 7-hit combo to counter evade? Get the hell out of here.
So Karate Mike is like, in my experience, he is an insanely nice human being. And, oh shoot, I'm about to die because I'm trying to tell a story. Yeah, there it is. Oh no. I think Gwenpool just evaded that on her own. I don't think that's one of her abilities, is it? That was wild. How did she do that?
I think it was one of those like frame perfect moments where you blocked the first hit perfectly and then dexed out of the remaining two.
I guess we'll have to go with that. And then I of course forget that Innervate does what it does. This is some expert gameplay right here. I can't believe I won that fight. I had no business with that. It looked like she was on like a skateboard. She looked like she was doing Mole Man's Heavy. She was moving backwards, just like sliding backwards. That goes way back earlier in the stream. Ace, what's up, dude? Where are we in the fight? OG Highline, do you prefer Mole Man as a defender or on defense? Mine got taken right away and put on defense. And I don't know if you're here at this part of the stream. He is eventually going to get fixed. He's keeping his true strike when he's not supposed to. I still think he'll be a very good champion, but I think people are now going to have to be... They're going to have to make that choice while playing him. Do I want the true strike or do I want that damage? And I think that will change things a little bit for people. I don't think anyone's going to regret ranking him. He'll still be excellent, but he might not be who they've gotten used to. Tech still sucks as a class in general. It's pretty incredible how nearly 7 years later, it still kind of sucks. You're not wrong. I expect it to get some upgrades soon, just because of the way it's worked. Like I thought Skill was going to get a lot of new champions, but they did it through buffs. And Ultron seems to be very good. And my understanding of what was buffed with him apparently was incorrect. Work kind of educated me on that today. I have purposely not been testing him because I thought it was an unavoidable bug. But it sounds like it's just off the SP3, which obviously you could test. So I think that's good.
Yep. From my understanding, that's the only like beneficial bug he's got right now is his special 3 stacking basically infinitely.
I remember though when I tested him, I remember thinking that I kind of wanted to go to the SP3. Like it triggers one of his functions, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it does. I forget which it is.
I don't think I'm going to win this fight. I cannot parry to save my life. He doesn't even have the weight.
Oh yeah, it's his power burn on special 3.
Man. He does melt pools. LTO Kurt, what's up, dude? I took him to R3 a while back. Don't regret it at all. Yeah. Yep. Peggy, you sounded like Dennis Green. They are who we thought they are. He is who we thought he is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, good. I forgot that I already won 2 fights in there. The parry bug was hitting me hard in that AA versus Fury fight.
I'm with you. I think Mole Man's still going to be really good if he does ever get fixed.
Yeah.
But I still think there are a lot of people who are just running with that. Oh, well, if he hasn't been changed yet, he's not going to be. It's like,
Yeah. I wouldn't
don't count on it.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I'm going to take Kingpin up first.
Yep. I also think Kingpin might actually... I think Kingpin is just as good of a champion, too. I like Kingpin a lot. So, yeah.
He's probably on deck for me. I'm going to wait to see what goes on with this Hood buff when it goes live, because I've got a cat for Hood, and he's sitting at rank 2. And I'm kind of thinking that would be a good play for me. But also, I have to decide now, because I'm short on T5B, on whether or not I want to take stupid Greek guy up to rank 2 first.
Stupid.
That's awesome. Dude, I am gonna have a bunch of tier 2 alphas expire. I've just come to terms with it. There's nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will as well.
Yeah. There would have to be some massive sale on tier 5 basic and probably tier 4 CC. And even then, I probably wouldn't buy it because it'd be like, that would just be so much. I don't know. Just to not have tier 2 alpha expire. I'd be like, okay, it is what it is. You know?
Yeah, it's the T4 CC that's going to get me right now. I am not exactly doing well in most classes.
Ooh, surprised we won that one. We're getting a little too close here. I'm not enjoying that. Hey, Vega, wife is home, so time for you to... Dude, thanks so much for stopping by. Fan, and I didn't realize you're here this whole time. That's incredible, dude. It's really cool to see. Oh, and your hat changed to red. That's awesome. I like the red hat. I really like the red hat. Fluffy Penguins just arc 3'd my Kingpin. Dude, he's so good. He's so good. And you can configure him. I am very... He is part of why I'm so excited for the Hood buff. Although, with them adding back in Hood's original utility, I know that it's a little bit different, but they've added back in a lot to that SP2. I am a little worried about what his damage is going to be like.
Less concerned about it. The main thing I wanted to see come back was the change to invisibility, which they brought back. Like, to be able to use his invisibility reliably offensively, that was what I wanted.
I am really excited about that. I'm not sure I understand why some people didn't want that. Why they wanted him to go to his or to be in his current form, which is his original form.
Because he's worse at missing long projectile attacks. But that's it. That's literally it. That's the only thing he's worse for. He's better for every other way to use invisibility.
So, like, they would use the invisibility for APOC's whole SP2.
Yeah, something like that, or I'm trying to think of like other ones, like Punisher 29, 2099's SP1.
Okay. That makes sense to me. I get it.
Because for every hit that misses, you're going to reduce the chance to miss the next. So, like, after the first 2 hits of the special, you're going to get wrecked, basically.
Okay. I respect that, especially if you've gotten used to using him a certain way. And that's what you do.
I understand it. I think that the pros outweigh the cons far more. But I get it. Like, if that's not how you were using the champ to begin with, like, you don't really care.
Yeah. Osman, you want the orange hat someday? Maybe we'll do that. Purple is the end goal, but maybe we can do like a 2-year one, and we could go orange. You've been a member long enough. I think you deserve some say in that.
Vega,
What's up?
I hate to interrupt at this moment, but whenever you get a chance, when you're not in the middle of an arena match, could you send me a friend request on Discord? I need to message you something about something going on.
Yeah, no worries, man. Let's see. Let's see, how do I do that?
I think if you just click on my icon in the call, you could send me a request.
Should be able to.
There we go. I got you.
But yeah, but Hood goes well with a lot of champs that I like, and either have ranked or want to rank, so I'm hoping he's good. But I may still end up having to rank Hercules first, which I'm not exactly thrilled about.
I'm gonna encourage you to like Hercules, and he's gonna win you over with his charm.
Didn't you say something similar with CGR?
I don't know. I say a lot of things. The important part is to decipher what you should actually pay attention to and not, right? If you say enough stuff, some of it's going to end up being correct.
Yeah. I'm open-minded enough to give him a chance, but and the thing is, like, I actually think I will like using him. I'm going to hate what other people use him for.
I hear that. And
just never awaken him.
Well, I have to, because the whole reason I wanted him is prestige, MSD.
Okay, all right, I'm out of options then.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to come up with something too. Oh wow, I'm just not doing damage. He is different than CGR. Obviously, that's obvious. But I think the fun of CGR is somehow different than the fun of Hercules, and I'm struggling to explain it. This isn't correct, but it's part of it. I was saying that I felt like Hercules, animations wise and all the jokes and stuff, he looked like a guy who was telling dad jokes before he was a dad. And I realize that's not why you would like him, but they've encompassed that fun in playing him. They've done an excellent job of it. Where I think the fun of CGR is he's really cool looking and he can do immense damage, but there's a little bit of like, how am I going to configure this guy's rotation or his buff system with his damnation system into this fight and what happens? Where Herc is more like, I just play him and he does incredible stuff without feeling overpowered in the way that I think champions who you don't like, Corvus and Magneto, feel. There was a lot there. I had a lot of contingencies in there. But I believe what I said.
I'm going to fiddle, for sure.
Yeah.
And, Brendan, I don't dislike CGR. I don't think he's overly useful. I think he's super fun. I think he's awesome. I don't think he's terribly useful. I think you can do a lot of things with him. I don't think he's who is the best option for a lot of things, which is very different.
It's his complete reliance on completing combos. Like, that in and of itself limits him a lot of different situations. And it'll ruffle people's feathers, but I mean, he's not the best cosmic in the game. He's great. He's probably, without a doubt, top 5, for sure. But his reliance on the most simple game mechanic, which is so easily countered, is what kind of takes him down a peg. Because Corvus doesn't need full combos. Hyperion doesn't need full combos. Merc doesn't need full combos. There's 3 characters right there who bypass that necessary niche of I need to complete a combo, and Cosmic Ghost Rider needs that. If you can complete combos, he's like unrivaled in terms of damage output.
No, he's
But
awesome.
if you can't do that very simple thing, he loses pretty much everything.
Or even if you can complete the combo, if something else messes with that, like I stupidly tried to use him in an off-season war against the Storm Pyramid X.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, glancing. I got wrecked.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things that natively limit him, and that's why, like, I understand why you aren't really fond of him, because we've talked about this a few times.
Yeah,
I get it. Like, it's not, you know, and I like him. You know, if I still had generics and I pulled him, I'd use one on him. I'm a fan, but I completely understand the argument of if Cosmic, you know, if I have another character, I'm not going to want to use Cosmic Ghost Rider because he's so reliant on just the most basic things that can be countered, and if he doesn't have those things, he can't really be used anywhere.
like when I get to use him, like he's fun. Like I love like taking him out and just like tearing simple stuff up with him. But the thing is, like if that's his primary use for me, it's like meh.
Yeah.
You know what you guys just been... I mean, I realized it. I hadn't really thought about its implications. Is that the only one of those top, you know, Cosmic champions that counters evade is Corvus, and he needs a synergy. Right? I'm not missing someone, am I?
Yes, he's the only one that counters evade with synergy.
Yeah, he still needs a synergy to do it.
Yep.
Surprisingly, like, pretty much no Cosmics have a native True Strike, which is accessible throughout the entirety of a fight.
Odin,
Proxima,
Heimdall.
but no one uses.
I wonder if Odin's supposed
Yeah,
to be...
I get that.
BMCG, I saw it and I was like, I'm gonna wait a minute. Yeah, so I hear you, buddy. Don't worry about it. I forget things all the time. Like I'm literally saying, like I think I'm realizing there was hesitance in my voice that Odin's probably the best Cosmic that just counters evade on his own.
Either
Possibly.
Odin or Proxima. Proxima gets permanent True Sense once, or True Strike once she has her missions ramped up, but Odin, like, he'll have it essentially forever.
Yeah. Cole can counter evade. Yeah.
Yeah, after
To a
he's
certain
got
extent.
5. I think it's like at 5 Thanos favor.
Red Goblin
Above
Spider-Verse. Hey, Z is here. Literally, guys, this is by far my favorite thing of doing YouTube. Like, just hanging out. I think I've streamed for almost like 7 hours today. No, I think it's 6. No, it's closing up on 7. And just like seeing people who live around the world that like I know from comments and Discord and Twitter, and like it's just so freaking cool. Thank you everyone for being part of it. Yeah, he needs the Thanos favor. I wonder if we're gonna get a Cosmic that handles evade on their own soon, or I wonder if it's supposed to be Odin.
Maybe Null or Anti-Venom.
I'd be so excited for either one of those champions, and I feel like there's reason to think either one's coming.
I mean, Anti-Venom is all but confirmed with the Mr. Negative synergy, and Null has been name-dropped a few times and heavily alluded to.
Yeah.
So, like, if I were to bet on one of the two coming this year, I'd say Anti-Venom has a much higher chance of coming first, but dude, they could just drop Anti-Venom Null, and people would go nuts. That would be an insane month.
We
If they
missed
do
one.
them right.
Arcus.
Ah, yes, Cold Snap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's not like Red Goblin and Spider. Like that's not limited to a certain class of champions.
Correct.
Yeah, that's just complete bypass.
He's pretty good too.
He is. I think I've always thought he was really underrated.
He's super cool. Pun intended. Like, really, he is.
Is this the After Dark concept? Nah, Z, these are just arena streams. Like, I'm even losing it a little bit. I'm starting to struggle with words. My hands hurt. Um, Here's what I'm thinking, though, is I was able to get like about 12 million out of my 6 stars. So that'll get me to like 28, right? And then I hit them again in the morning. That's only 40. I don't think 120 is going to get her. But I'm doing better than I thought I would do. I'm pretty excited about this. My math wasn't off there, was it?
Let's see. It's another 12, 20, 40 in the morning. Yeah, no, that's 120.
And that's if I only do the 6 stars.
Well, I mean, that's with your 5 stars in there as well.
No, I think the 6 stars hit 12 million on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to get to 40, that's with your 5 stars in on this run.
Oh, got it. Yeah. I can't find Wasp.
Like, I don't think you'd have to hit, like, every 5-star cooldown that you can. But I do think you will have to use your 5 stars as well.
Got it.
Unless she ends up just going lower. But, I mean, didn't Purgatory go for, like, 140? Something like that?
Yeah, hitting
Insane.
120 is not something that would make me feel good. I would not be happy with that.
Yeah, there's a chance that's safe, but I don't even know with these scores lately, man.
I think I'm overthinking who I'm going to bring in. I'm getting a little too worried about losing.
Who's in the basic right now? It's not anybody.
Yellow Jacket.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Yellow Jacket. Yeah, so that's not like that's going to take away from the score for America.
All right, I think this might be the last fight or last round. Thor can still lay the smack down. Look at this.
I can't believe I duped my 6-star.
That's pretty insane.
I got him. Where'd I get him from? Was it a featured? Was it? Yeah, I think it was whatever the last featured. I think he was in it, maybe. Or
He's in the basic now.
Yeah,
he was in the last one, so he's in the basic now.
I duped him from the side event crystal.
Dude.
Oh no, I think I might have got him. I got him from a Cav. I got him from
one second, guys.
I got him from the Hercules Cavs.
Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to ignore
chat.
Chat there for so long. I got caught up in trying to take the perfect champions to this. Sorry, work. Didn't mean to interrupt you either, dude.
Oh no, you good, man. Who's a better 6-star to rank 2? iBomb, Sim Supreme, Colossus, or Profex? All unawakened. Well, I definitely would not put Sim Supreme in there. He's really good, but he's super niche.
Sim is situationally the best mystic, but that's very
for
rare.
Tiny number of fights. Like you basically need super buffs all over the place.
I felt like a stupid amount of pressure on that fight. Man, I can't believe people who do these grinds, like this is just how they play the game. It is insane. If you do 25 every 12 hours, you'll hit 150. Yeah, I'm feeling like there's a path. I think what I'm maybe not accounting for, though, is sleep. I think that's what I'm maybe not accounting for. Non-MCoC question, kind of. Have you met any of the 4 Lokiers in person at Kama? No. The only person I've met, in fact, he was at 4 Loki for a little while, but he played with me at WoW, and then we were at SSX for a while. There's a guy named Strands, really cool dude. He's it's been a bit. because I'm just not showing other folks as much. But he's submitted some really cool fights, some like cable boss solos, and some of the early like rank 3 Sorcerer Supreme. In fact, he was on Legacy's channel a couple times. I think at least once with some cool Sorcerer Supreme videos. Really good dudes from Philly. We're both Eagles fans. And then I was bummed because I wanted to go to New York Comic Con this year. I was planned to go, like, had clearance from work and family and everything, and then Kabam's not going. So it felt like kind of a waste for me to go when if, like, Kabam goes to something early next year, I'll want to go to that. So, but I'm excited. And I, knock on wood or whatever, I think I'm going to be playing this game a lot longer. So I'm looking forward to meeting people and things like that. I would try at least 150. That's going to be the problem, Z. Now that I'm seeing this being a little bit more realistic, nothing's come up yet for me to handle tomorrow. I think I need to set a goal of that's what I'm getting to and then just get to it. You'll have only 6 more 6 runs, so that'll be 72 million. Okay. All right. Well, I'm comfortable doing the 5s. This hasn't been bad. Off topic, who's the better? Is this what you answered, Work? The 6-star champion question?
Yeah. And that really just comes down to what you need out of iBomb, Colossus, or Xavier, really.
Yeah, I think that makes
If you
sense.
need, like, an immunity champ to fill a whole bunch of roles, Colossus can do a lot of work for you. I think Xavier and iBomb are the better champs out of the 3, but it just depends on how much you need those immunities from Colossus.
Yeah, that's pure roster construction, right?
Yeah.
I have almost never felt safe. Like for me, it's truly like how I feel the phone and is reacting to my movements, doing the wall intercept. Here, I'll try it. See, I feel like that happens too much to me to feel safe doing it with Falcon. Or, I'm sorry, with Magic.
The stand-ups you're talking about?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's just for me. It's like I know there's some champions get up faster than others, so there's that function too. But it's like literally how I'm feeling like my thumbs and the phone are interacting with each other. It's weird. I know it's weird. It's just how I am. I'm on 7.1 and have an R2 APOC that makes a difference to the mutants. I've also not done LOL. I think getting LOL done is still worthwhile, even when your roster's getting to that point. I mean, it's resources, it takes time, but I think it's still worth it to get it done.
As far as Labyrinth, I think it really depends, especially with the Karina objectives now. Like, it's almost worth waiting until your Thronebreaker just to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, that makes sense as well. You know what? I'm dead tired. Yeah, I think I gotta call it. Thank you. Like, honestly, MSD, Spent, he's no longer here, but thanks for being on the call, and of course, Work. Guys, I really appreciate it a ton. OG Highline, oh my good God. Thank you. And thank you everyone who's been part of the chat. Like, you guys are why this is fun. So we'll be back at it tomorrow. I'm going to try to get some 6 stars in tonight, do a full run through, and then be back at this pretty early tomorrow. Earlier than I was on today, that's for sure. We'll have to see when the 6 stars come off. So, OG Highline, you're still here, TD. I'm glad you got to hear that. And MSD and Work, anything to add, guys?
No, not much.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate you guys dropping knowledge and hanging out. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you really soon.